Yeah, dragons, man. Do you think Oda has thought about bringing in Monkey D. Dragon more now that it's 2024, Year of the Dragon? Because surely, right? Surely he's thought of that. You know, people are saying, oh, you're crazy for thinking Year of the Dragon means more dragon. But it's like, well, I mean, Oda surely thought of that, right? He drew Luffy in a dragon costume, so anything's possible.
There's many dragons in One Piece, and we've gone through many of them, right? So like
the last one is dragon.
Yeah, like we've gone through Kaido, the fish dragon. We've gone through Momo, the copy of the fish dragon. We went through Celestial dragons. Many. Yeah, Ryunosuke was a time, and then we went through Celestial dragons many of times, and
the immortal dragons from the filler arc.
And we're about to slay a dragon with monsters being animated.
Yeah. Oh, and then the knockoff monsters dragon at Punk Hazard.
Exactly. So like we've how many dragon fake outs could we possibly occur?
Dude, you know how crazy that'd be to see the spoilers for like Punk Hazard? Like, oh, chapter 622, Zoro one shots dragon. And they're like, oh no, Luffy's dad is dead. And then you go to the chapter and it's actually just a dragon.
622 is I think it's Otahime and Tiger, but you're
a little bit past that. Yeah
656 I think is when like Punk Hazard-ish starts.
Damn. So like 657 658 would be the dragon killing
around there. Yeah
okay.
Because they leave like 650 I think, and then some it's about
Dang, this is like One Piece manga number trivia.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we should do that someday. Wink, wink.
Oh, I would so lose. I only have like guesstimations. I don't know the exact chapters.
There's brownie.
That is beyond me.
I think that's pretty impressive. I wonder if Oda like does that, you know, because some people believe he has the numbers on lock, but like Year of the Dragon, I think it's like a lot of times he'll be like, oh, let's see what it was 5. People eat this shit up. 100 like
Zoro probably looks at 11103, and then he goes back to chapter 103. He's like, what happened there? What little tie-in can I put in, right?
Yeah. At the end of the day, he's come out and said like, yo, these move sets, I don't know them. Thank God for the wiki.
Thank God there's the Japanese wiki out there. I could just go back to that whenever I want.
Like, I'd sooner believe there are some chapters he's waited on, sure, but like most of the times when it comes to those things, he's probably like, damn, you know what Twitter loves? They love it when a 500 chapter parallel comes into play. Let me make that happen. You know, I'm full on board in believing that.
And even dates are kind of interesting too.
Yeah, dates are where it gets a little freaky, because then it's like, whoa, that's kind of crazy that you did that. Like, because then dates are wilder because it's like lining it up where it's like that's not chapter related. You know what I mean? Like, you're telling me this month 20 years ago you did that. That's a little scary.
Well,
you know?
but what if Oda took like multiple breaks just to get to that point? What if he's like, oh, like I really want to release this chapter, but you know the date doesn't line up till next month. Maybe I should take a 1 month hiatus.
That's still a little bit more impressive. You know what I mean? That's still kind of impressive.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. Versus like if you were just playing around with the numbers, like, and he's like, it's so easy to just go back to chapter 500, look at the title, look at the cover story, and then just redo it. And it's like, oh my God.
Another bad thing with the date is, bro, imagine we plan something up and then it's a leap year.
Yeah, which next year is.
GG.
So maybe we leap over Dragon because it's a leap year.
Yeah. That's why 2012 had no Dragon. It was a leap year. Oda messed it up. He was ready for it. He had like 50 chapters of Dragon backstory. He's like, no, leap year.
Yeah, his editor said, I'm like, haha, leap. It's like a reverse Uno card. Like,
yeah.
Leap year,
dude.
Haha. Every Dragon year is a leap year. 2012. I think it's a 4 year. Oh no.
Man, this color page, color
Shonen
spread.
Jump.
Yeah. We have like all the Straw Hats decked out in Dragon gear. We have Momo and even Yamato's here, right? Like, she's part of the crew, the 10th Nakama, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, man. We don't have the Monkey D Dragon here, you know? Like, Kaido isn't here. Like, I don't know, man. It feels a little bit off. I'm gonna say
the controversial thing. I think of all the dragons Oda has done, I think Frankie's hair is kind of the coolest. Did you notice that dragon?
Yeah, I noticed that dragon. It looks pretty good. It
Yeah, I
looks like
like that.
Kaido if Kaido was made out of blue flames, right?
Yeah, like how he should have went out in the series. Like
I know some people are gonna say, Sai, why don't you put the pictures of Frankie's hair up here so we can all see it? But let me tell you, brother, these podcasts go on for about 2 to 3 hours. God forbid I edit every single image. I'm so sorry, but consider this like a read along. Because I know somebody's gonna say it, but just
really,
apologies.
I feel like recently we haven't gotten comments like that, but
I think once in a blue moon, somebody will be like, man, can you put pictures up? And it's like, dude, that's a 3-hour video. Like, that would take forever to edit, man.
we
I don't
also
know.
record these at the crack of dawn, so it's like, or
The
the
crack
butt
of dawn.
of dawn.
Yeah. This is the butt of dawn. We're recording this at 1:27 a.m. my time and 2:27 for par.
And I just
It's kind of
drove
late.
5 hours to get here. So
he heard Kuma got back to Egghead Island, so he rushed back home.
faster
Like,
than
go.
the admirals, the Gorosei dragon himself.
Bonnie
like,
Sai is waiting for me.
yo.
Yeah.
And then this is peak Sai-Par collab.
It's the last of the year.
Yeah, so we need to make it happen, and we drove over mountains literally to get here.
Yeah,
So-
I walked 2 feet over to my computer and sat down, and Par had to drive 5 hours. It was very
Listen.
comparable.
Listen, and there's a wide margin between what you did and I did, and Dragon still isn't in that margin.
Yeah, no. Honestly, like, Yamato making it in here is kind of interesting. Like, Momonosuke makes sense, but they put Yamato in here. I'm like, man, Oda's, he's tugging on me, man. Like, I've kind of given up on the Yamato for Nakama train, but he's bringing it back. Maybe she'll come back on Momonosuke.
Wait, you were also never on that train, right?
Oh no, I was always on that train.
But you weren't like
I got flamed every week in Wano for saying Yamato was gonna join us, and then she didn't.
okay. So
I still believe though.
We started
I still
collabing
believe.
after Wano, which probably because now I'm thinking about it,
Yes.
we would have probably fought every week.
Oh, it would have been so bad. I was fighting for my life in the discords, bro.
Oh, you would have been fighting your life in the call too. You would have canceled the calls after Wano.
Yeah. That would be like the start and end of our Parcast, yeah.
You're like, fuck that guy. Like,
There's a reason why God saved us until after Wano.
yo,
If we did these during Wano, oh god damn, man. Like I'd
it would've been
be
so
your number
stale.
one hater.
We would be going back and because sometimes those chapters really like I know which chapters were like juice for the Yamato squad,
No,
Milking
I
the
knew it was cooked. The chapter when Yamato said, "I made my decision," I knew it was done.
That's at the end. That's literally
Yeah. I held up to the very end. Sorry, I'm waiting for the Hail Mary to take me home,
You
brother.
literally
Like,
said,
my
"Oh,
bad.
I knew I was cooked."
Hey,
Literally
people
the
fight in
chapter-
overtime.
I knew it was cooked. The chapter we leave Wano.
No. The chapter where Luffy jumped off the waterfall with the rest of the crew and Yamato was in there, I knew it was done. Like the minute we hit Egghead Island is when I jumped off the Yamato train.
Yo, and you know what's crazy? People haven't jumped off after
like I said, I'm still kind of on though. I still feel like Yamato can easily come to us with Momonosuke. And she knows where we're going. Like
that's
we're
where I
not
was
too
at.
far gone.
I was always like, listen, it's not gonna ever happen after Wano, and if it happens later, it's like at that point in the story, everybody's on the crew. Like, you know what I mean? Like the point that I see that Yamato joins, it's like, what are we doing? Like everyone's gonna be in the fleet or something, and we're gonna be fighting the world government. And it's like everybody and their mother shows up, literally. Like
Gambia's grandma's gonna show up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Wow, that's crazy. You brought I know.
I love Gambia's grandma. That's like my favorite
The
Easter egg of
navigator.
One Piece. Yeah, the best navigator in One Piece.
Someone brought that up because of my last or my comeback video with the Nami's booty video, but I looked into it and I don't think there's anything there. But
How many people do you think will know who Gambia's grandma even is?
there's gonna be 5 probably, and then
5%
all
or
the
like
other
5 people?
5 people, and then the rest are liars. Like the people who comment like, "Oh, I knew that person." You just googled it. Stop.
So Gambia is Barto's version of Zoro. It's Bartolomeo's right-hand man.
yes,
And the navigator of the Barto Club is actually Gambia's grandma. And she's not exactly on the crew. she actually lives at home in her little village, and whenever they need navigation advice, they call her up on the Den Den Mushi, and she makes something up that is completely random.
Yes.
And that's it. That's her extent of navigation skills.
Yeah,
I love it.
And somehow they've made it all the way through the New World.
It works.
Yeah, apparently
She's prophetic.
so.
She's like Madame Charlie.
Yeah, and just like someone being carried to the New World, I thought the craziest part of this cover story wasn't even Yamato being here. It was that Yamato's riding Luffy. I didn't know what to make of that part. I was like, yeah, I was just like,
she's a top. I mean, come on. That's all it's saying.
No, but I mean, like everybody else is like somewhat like Momo has the clouds. Everyone's like riding a dragon, but then Yamato's the only one, like actually just literally. There's no depth to make it work that she's on Momo's back. She's literally just on Luffy, and I can't recall a time someone surfed the main character. And I like that's where I was like, you know what? Yamato fans are gonna be eating with this one.
I'm eating. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like Yamato, because she kind of is a brand new personality within the crew. Like, I don't think she exactly she doesn't. She's a different color. I guess is a good way to put it. She's a different color to the rainbow of the Straw Hats.
You're skating this dangerous line, but you managed to land that.
I did it. I did it. Yeah. That was impressive, huh?
That was great. And to that, I'll say, I agree with you until she joins the crew, and then Oda makes her like very similar to like Robin. She would just be
she
a
becomes
blend.
An archaeologist.
Like I don't know how to explain it, but it would just become a blend of the other characters just in one character. Like it would feel it'd feel like the reverse of Brook. Brook, I don't know if people remember, but Brook, at least in the
Brook's a part of the crew.
Yeah, Brook,
he does so little, I kind of forget sometimes.
When Brook joined the crew,
man.
I don't know if it was in the manga, but I'm pretty sure it was, because it was a setup to like the episode of Mary. Brook felt so out of place in the crew that he tried to blend in with everybody else, and it didn't work. And then that's how the episode of Mary starts, where Usopp tells Brook of all of their travels beforehand. And it was literally just because Brook was just a lonely dude and messed up everywhere else. Like he messed up Sanji's cooking, messed up Robin's books. Yeah. And it was a good setup, but like Yamato would be the opposite.
Oh no, I hated that episode. I skipped it.
Oh my god.
I watched it once, and then I've rewatched One Piece a lot of times, and I always skip that episode. I hate it so much because I think it ends with Brook playing Bink Sake at sunset, and I hated that. I was like, dude, stop playing this one song. Like, if I invited a musician to my crew and he only knew how to play one song, oh god. Hey, not even the Revive Fruit would bring him back to life after I'm done with them.
Knows plenty of songs per his concert. He just doesn't grace us with the same world tour Soul King has, right?
Yeah, like, he just hits us with Binks's brew, Binks's sake over and over.
Yeah, I mean, and
it's like Groundhog's Day with dragons, the Year of the Dragon.
I like the Soul King song. Like whatever song was in the send off for the Straw Hats, like post time skip, I like that a lot, and I wish we heard that more often. Yeah, that was a fun one. I liked it. Dang, those good times.
Speaking of Brook, though, Brook, Usopp, Chopper, and Sanji do not have any dragon-related clothing on them. Isn't that weird? Everybody else does. Yeah, from what we can see. What we can see.
Maybe
they got
instead
it.
of in dragon, they got lots of meat. Usopp got meat in front of him. Sanji's a whole bucket of meat, and Brook is finally got some meat on his bones, So it's like,
does he? Does Brook have meat?
Yeah, he has meat in his mouth.
Oh yeah. He's slobbering on it, dude.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, the most meat he's gotten on his bones.
Yeah, maybe that's saying something.
Yeah,
but then again, Frankie has meat. Yamato's chewing down as well.
Yamato, yep. Nami got lots of meat.
Hey, maybe Yamato's the one who delivered the food. She's already here.
No.
Nakama. All right. No. My agenda.
Oh, that's the craziest.
That's a good one.
Who brought McDonald's to Luffy?
It was Yamato. I've been hearing some wacky theories with that.
And when we'll get there, I'm sure.
When we get there, we'll talk about
hit me with that, because I haven't been been plugged into the vision as much as you have been. So
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, I live online, so I see all the One Piece takes out there.
yeah, yeah.
It's like Gojo just uses domain expansion on me. I just see everything in the world, and
Yup.
I hate it. I hate it.
If you guys want the vision, make sure to check out Size main channel.
Don't do it. So we go into the chapter. Bonnie walks out of the room. You know, she saw all the memories. She hugs Dr. Vegapunk, says she's sorry, and I think it's really wholesome, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
this
and
is a
Dr.
good one.
Vegapunk, this entire time, he didn't really care too much either. He was just like, well, she's mad at me. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
And
he
I
never
like
really like sought the forgiveness. He never really tried to explain himself.
Yeah, there's some question marks in this like little interaction, but like from a sentimental point, I think it was a really nice effect that Oda just had like Bonnie shrink to her normal age and
Yeah.
then that was a good effect. I liked it. Oda's been really good about, I think last chapter 1102 and this chapter, it's just like the page to panel like the sentiment on that, and this one had it. Kuma last one with the running thing, so it's a good touch, nice touch.
It's A1.
Yeah, followed by some interesting gift.
Oh yeah. Man, I was a one-man army on this one. So we come to find out that Kuma left a gift with Vegapunk for her
Yes.
10th birthday. And it's a
By the way,
sapphire necklace that looks like the sun.
And she's 12
Par.
now.
Yeah, she is 12 now. Par. I gotta ask, be real. Do not lie.
Uh-huh.
Do you think this necklace is pretty?
Oh,
Would
no,
you
it's
would you
pretty
give
dumb.
this to your daughter?
Would I give it to my daughter? I mean, okay, so for a 10-year-old, 12-year-old, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I don't want my kid to be mugged, so I'm not gonna put like fine, precious
Sapphires.
gems. Yo, like I don't even know what's around it, but like, yeah, I'm not trying to make my kid a target. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah,
maybe not.
yeah.
But then there's also the other nuance of what this sapphire really means, and it's a little twisted, just a little
No,
twisted.
no, I love the meaning behind the sapphire, right?
Oh,
Because
what's
Bonnie
the
had
what?
sapphire scales, and boom, here's a sapphire necklace.
And what did the
She's a
sapphire scales
survivor.
mean for? Oh, so she was. What did the sapphire scales mean for Bonnie over her entire lifespan? You know, what did it mean
Well,
for
yeah,
her side?
it was a negative, but Kuma was trying to turn it into a positive. You know,
Kind of
it's
turned
A1,
positive. Yeah,
A1.
yeah. That's
It's like when he
jewelry
called her
Bonnie.
scales jewelry. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
like it.
it's
I like
wholesome.
it. I think it's even funnier where Bonnie decide to like, oh, my dad will my dad will recognize me if I get a piercing where my sapphire was. I was like,
Yeah,
sure, or like that's you.
I
There's
mean
no.
it's better than rhinestones.
Yeah, I mean, but then why not just like you're? I'm sure you came across some sapphire. You know what I mean? Like, because then she had the choice herself to don the sapphire because she wanted to be recognized with the sapphire, and she didn't choose that. But Kuma's like, you know what? I'm gonna. You know, what'd be even more twisted is if this sapphire was part of her illness. Like it
Oh, that
was
would be
just
so cool. Yeah.
yeah, hey, you know, as far as I heard that so some people from your live stream came to my live stream and said that you had a present for me. You had
Not yet, not yet. So yeah, I didn't know if you want me to mention it here, but I made a joke that this is really sweet, and I would do the
uh-huh.
same thing for Par.
Yeah,
So once Par beats his cancer, I'm gonna get him a cancer survivor badge. And I think it'll be the most wholesome present out there. Par will treasure that for the rest of his life.
that is made out of my actual cancer, just like Bonnie. You're gonna ask?
I think you know how people keep their umbilical cords?
Yeah.
Maybe if I still have mine, I could put that in a little jar, and that could be a part of your cancer survivor necklace.
You know, like as Goofy. So this is something my wife is at.
Oh!
Whoa, what?
You can Google it. Umbilical cord necklace. People actually have it out there. They're selling it.
That is a
That is
crazy Google
crazy.
search. What did you Google search?
I just Google search umbilical cord necklace, and there's like four
That
or
is
five of them.
Craziest. That might be the
Yeah.
craziest Google search of 2023. Guys, mark it down. Umbilical cord necklace is the most
Oh, it's
wild.
not for sale, but people have them though. They
I
they
don't
make it
want
their
to.
own.
I don't want to look more into. Side, hit the back button. Hit the
No,
back
no,
button
somebody
until
made it
you
into
hit
a
the.
little rose. It's just like the Bonnie thing, right? It's like, oh, it's umbilical cord that looks like a sunflower.
See, I was gonna say
Wow.
something,
Wow, wow,
and
wow.
now you know what? So my wife was upset at me because when cremation time comes to play, I said that because it's carbon. So I was like, we could turn ourselves into diamonds. And then like a few years later, that company now exists and it's a thing. So you can turn yourself into a diamond when you pass away. And my wife doesn't like that idea, but that's kind of similar, right? Like the
Yeah.
sapphire. Yeah. So it's like I'm not opposed to it, you know.
There's
Turn
a thing out there where like you can get buried and turn into a tree, right?
Yeah, but the tree thing, like, what if a dog pees on me or like a bird poops on me?
Yeah, you're
A
right. You're
diamond
right.
is the toughest thing we got, baby.
And
Like,
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I saw like I think it's like some Native American folklore, and it scared the hell out of me. Where like you turn into a tree, but you feel everything the tree does. I'm
yeah,
like,
see,
dang, like what if some ants crawl up me? Like, I don't know if I like that. Like, no offense. Like, if you like that, all you, but just the thought of it kind of scares me a little bit.
yeah, versus a diamond is like legit. Like, I'm not feeling stuff, right? And sure, it's not
Yeah.
unbreakable, but it is pretty goddamn hard to break. So
Yeah, just look at Diamond Jozu, right? He took the world's strongest swordsman on.
let's bring in that power
Whoa!
scaling. I gotta tell my wife that the world's strongest swordsman couldn't beat Diamond. That's why I am going to be Diamond when I'm gone. You know?
Just imagine Zoro, like, you know how people use that to undersell Mihawk?
Uh huh.
Imagine Zoro fights Jozu and Zoro's like, whoa, this guy's crazy. Oda actually plays into it. Like, Jozu was just the swordsman killer.
Like
That'd be
he has
hilarious.
to learn how to cut Diamond now, and then like he has to listen to it, and it's just like he has to hear the voice of Diamond, and it's just Jozu talking.
Yeah,
Like
it's his
it's
inner monologue. He's like, what do I eat for breakfast?
yeah,
Diamonds? Maybe.
that'd be such a funny, oh my god, like three-piece
Yeah.
manga. Yeah, like a separate fan made. People have, you know what's funny? I say
What's
that,
up?
but people have been listening to this and they've made really good fan art panels. Like they heard our dragon conversation
Which one?
about
We've
the
had so
one
many.
the one where yeah, the one where Kuma goes like, you know, I saw a kid, and Dragon just freaks out, and they made a panel of that, and it's like the amazing art, and I was like, wow, this is great, and it's literally what we said, where it's just like Kuma's like, you know, there was a cool kid that I want to show, and Dragon's like, do you want me to die? Like, it
Yeah,
just
you trying to kill me? Come on. What are you doing?
yeah.
Stop.
Shout out to the I forget that was this was a few weeks ago. So my brain is currently not operating at optimal parts, but I'll retweet it again just so everyone can see it.
Heard that.
Yeah, it's a dope one.
Dude, this necklace though, man, does it look like the sun to you?
I mean, at that rate, everything is the sun, right? Like I can look at
Yeah,
a flower.
right? I have my little light on right here. I'm like, is that the sun? I look at a light bulb. I'm like, whoa!
Yeah,
It's the
like
power of the sun over there.
like listen, if we're calling this like it looks like the sun circles, all circles are the sun. Like
Yeah,
if there
sunflower,
were
I can see.
lines, if there were lines coming off of it, I'd give it to them, right? But because
Yeah.
that's more unique than just circles around circles. Because it's like this is like I could go to my son's like plate like it with his toys and he's arranged it and it's like, oh my god, he knows astrophysics. He made the
Yeah.
sun.
It's just like 9 circles.
Yeah. He stacked them up and he's like, oh my god, he knows the galaxy. This is crazy.
I heated up some sausage in the oven a minute ago, and I heated it up for so
Oh
long
no.
that the oil burnt through, and it started dripping on the floor, and it just made those little like splotches, and
Yeah.
that kind of looked like the sun.
You know, like I'm sure you've seen it, and if you're not on Twitter, like this meme has come across where it's like after the Kuma last chapter like passed away, someone shared a thing of what they were making coffee in the morning, and there was a bubble with three bubbles on top, and it actually looked like the paw,
Oh, I
and
saw that.
yeah, and so it's like that you can't. That's crazy. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
actually is it, right? Like versus this, it's like
Oh,
no, like we can't just be looking at circles and be saying that looks like the sun.
this reminds me of this is an old thing, like maybe 10, 12 years ago, but back
Did
when eBay
last
was
year
still
of
a
the
thing.
dragon?
Yeah, the last year of the dragon. You ever see those posts on eBay where they're like, hey, I'm selling this thing for $50,000. It's a Cheeto that looks like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like that. It's like, guys, I found Jesus.
Okay, but
You're reincarnated into this Cheeto.
but some of those Cheetos actually did look kind of
No,
legit.
they don't. It's just a
I'm not saying
Cheeto.
that one, but some of them. I remember one of them was like looked like something that they said. I remember
Yeah.
one of them, but I don't know if it was fake or not. It could be photoshopped. I don't know.
A
We did
Photoshop
have
Cheeto.
Photoshop back then. Yeah.
And then how would you would you ever buy something like imagine if you're a millionaire, would you buy a Cheeto that looks like Jesus Christ?
Maybe like if I was a multi-millionaire, right? I wouldn't, but I could see like if my kid was spoiled out the wazoo. Like I know like people that are that like insane and their kids just buy random stuff and it's like they could do it. They could
Yeah.
100% do it. That's where I think most of this stuff happens. It's like the billionaires who have kids and the kids are like 9 and they have multi-millions dollars, but it's like it's like me having $10 is like that but millions for their kid, you know?
Yeah.
So, it's like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I think those things sold.
This necklace, Vegapunk calls it a protective charm. OP scans translated that as talisman even. So
Damn.
it's definitely not necklace, right? This ain't just any necklace. Do you think this is going to be important to some extent?
Protective and talisman is a very like that's very directive wording, I feel like.
Yeah,
I don't think
Oda distinguished this one.
yeah, and like two things come across. We haven't had such wording with anything else prior. Like nothing has been said to be like, oh, Luffy, this will protect you. Like I
Yeah.
can't recall something like that. But then secondly, we just got introduced magic circles, so it's like as far as like talisman, protective charms, hey listen, Saturn came in with the circle. I don't know what else exists in One Piece. So
Maybe
don't-
this is a charm. Maybe it is
Yeah.
a talisman. You never know.
like, and this would connect back to the whole idea, and I think this chapter low-key debunks it, but low-key doesn't debunk it, where it's like, remember a long time ago we were memeing on, like you said, Saturn was the godhead of science because the island God Valley, and they were giving head for like I don't know what you said, but it was something
They
like
were
that.
giving head for science, and Saturn was the #1 competitor or something.
Yeah, you said something. What it's on the record, we have it there, but like, and in my iteration of it was that like maybe Vegapunk is science, and like back in the day, alchemy and like magic circles was the science.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why the magic circle thing makes sense for him, because he was like the like in anime that have magic circles, they sometimes conflate it to science. I was like, oh, maybe that's what he's doing. And so maybe Vegapunk and like Saturn are flip-flopping, right? Like Vegapunk is dipping his toes into what Vegapunk is doing, and Vegapunk's like dipping his toes in the magic circle stuff. So he made a magic protective charm, and this is like base level. This is like talisman 101. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it could be that. It could be. I don't know. Maybe.
Dang, I was thinking more along the lines of this is the highest authority chip.
Yeah, I've seen that. It could be. It could definitely be, and that would make sense, right? But then it's also like so then it would be a protective charm if Kuma is around, right?
Well,
The theory
if any
spins-
pacifistas around.
and then the theory has been I think someone commented this on my video on the stream saying
Yeah.
that if we follow the timeline, then it could be that Bonnie, like, if she used that, and that's why Kuma ran from Dragon, because if this is the authority chip, then like Kuma heard it and then
Yeah.
came, and if it's like what you're saying, the highest authority, maybe, and it's a protected charm, that would be the very awesome, cool, sentimental, dope, right? But it's also like,
The timeline doesn't match.
oh, I didn't know the timeline didn't.
Yeah.
So like people said that off the reaction. So I was like, hey, that sounds cool. But I also was like, I feel like that's so specific. And that'd be crazy if Oda did line it up. But if you're saying it doesn't line up, it doesn't line up.
Doesn't line up, dude. Rest in peace. Because Kuma, so I actually have a reasoning as to why Kuma took off when he did.
Okay, hit me with it. I've heard a few, or read a few at this point.
I think it kind of jumps ahead a little bit, but I think Kuma's like the hive mind of all the pacifista in the world.
Okay. Okay,
I think he can hear and see everything that happens, because I went back to the chapter when Kuma first blasted off,
Mhm.
and it was one page after Rob Lucci says, "Let's exterminate Bonnie."
Right. And a lot of people had that idea when that
Yeah.
chapter came out.
Yeah, because the
That's
Kuma
why.
Seraphim was behind there. And this
Yeah.
chapter kind of sold that more for me too. Because just
Mhm.
skipping ahead real quick, when Kuma does show up here on Egghead Island, spoiler alert, sorry. Kuma actually runs by all of the Marines' fodder and doesn't really attack any of them until he gets to Saturn. But he attacks
Mhm.
two people specifically. He
Mhm.
attacks the two vice admirals that
Mhm.
attacked Bonnie. And I'm like, hey,
Wait, I don't like your wording. Does he attack them or do they attack him?
well, Kuma's he's a tyrant. He attacks innocent people all day.
Oh,
He
he
attacked
wasn't.
what an old lady
Is
bluegrass, and he
I have
attacked
a question
old
for you.
man, retired veteran,
Is this the
clamshell otter guy.
Oh, so to verify what you're saying, in a court of law, I think patterns is really important. And so, can you confirm or deny? Is this not the first time Kuma's ever made a fist in the
So
series?
hear me out. We haven't
What
seen the entirety
angry
of Kuma's life. Like
assaulting?
we skip from like 12 years, Genie
Your
died,
Honor,
14 years,
objection,
boom,
relevance.
Kuma's in jail. Like,
Your
we
Honor,
miss a lot. And here's the thing. Bonnie, what was she known for? Bonnie was known for beating young kids and the elderly. And I say
Oh,
like father, like daughter. Kuma's the one who taught her how to beat up the elderly. And that's
Your
what Kuma did
Honor,
this chapter. Bluegrass and
straw
clamshell guy went
man,
down.
straw man, Your Honor. What is
Hey, Hawkins
Bonnie's
is dead. No
relevance?
straw man.
There's no like I'm sitting here. You're bringing up Bonnie's history. I'm like they're not even related.
Hey, father and daughter. Hey, nope. He raised her. He raised her. So you're saying that Kuma isn't actually Bonnie's dad?
Is that where Your Honor?
If that's the route you want to go, like who's her real dad? Oh wow, it's the Celestial Dragons. Yay, woo!
The defendant
Sorry,
is
Bonnie, that's not your
waffling
dad over
around,
there.
Your Honor. Like,
he's waffling around.
yo, like
I'd make a great lawyer, like a classic bad Saul
imagine
Goodman.
we tag team good lawyer, bad lawyer. We just confuse the room. Like what just happened?
Hey, you gotta admit, if we were the only lawyers in a court, the jury would have a fun day.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah, they'd walk out with a smile.
That's technically what these streams are a little bit. Like
Yeah, so there was one stream where I think I apologized for getting off topic a lot in the comments, and then someone said, "No, don't worry, nobody comes here for the chapter breakdown." So somebody said we come here for the conversation, not the actual chapter breakdown. Nobody cares.
Hey, that's fair. That's
oh,
fair.
yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. If you guys like hear us BSing around about One Piece, then
there's too many people.
Low be it for me to stop you.
Anybody who streams the chapter covers spoilers, chapters, reaction on drop, losers. But the people who have
that's me though.
The heart, yeah, I'm. Oh my. Inside the joke, me too. I do the same thing. I was calling us
Par. You're a One Piece YouTuber.
And you
yeah,
are?
you stream the chapter.
Yeah, and you?
Yeah, I do the same.
Yeah. Okay. All right. See, this late guy is clean.
I didn't get the joke. I'm sorry.
Where were we though with the
chapter
authority chip? Okay.
Yeah. Like
the hive mind.
Yeah. I think Kuma's like Pain, where he sees and hears everything from the other pacifistas out there.
Okay, here's a spin. Maybe not hive mind, but what if it's because you're saying it was the Seraphim that heard Rob Lucci, right?
Yes, but the reason I say hive mind with all the pacifistas is because he attacked the two vice admirals that attacked Bonnie. And
but he also attacked a Mark III. He also attacked a Mark, or he didn't attack. Like Your Honor, he did not attack. We have no proof. He ran and they attacked him and they bounced off him. These vice admirals are like soccer players at the World Cup. They're
I see explosions. I see blood. Kuma did it. Come on.
Sai, you need to take the correct defense.
And what is Kuma doing at the end of the chapter? He's about to attack an elderly citizen.
The correct defense here, Sai, is that they attacked him, but the vice admirals are selling it. They're selling it so hard, like professional soccer players at the World Cup. They're fumbling, falling. They're acting like it did way more than it really did. because if they were trying to stop Kuma and 30,000 soldiers on the island couldn't stop him with bazookas, 9 vice admirals, and Saturn told everybody to go towards the coast where he was, that's embarrassing. That's very embarrassing. Regardless if
Well,
if they
Kuma's
were.
he's not alive. He's taking 0 damage. I like to imagine if this was like an RPG, it would just say like 000 on top of him whenever you hit him.
Yeah, but
You need to attack his soul.
Hey, if we're going straight to its side, let me ask you the straight question, because you always hit me
All
with
right,
this.
we're skipping to the end then, I guess. Nobody's here for the breakdown anyways. What's up, Par?
We have
Hit me
in
with it.
betweens. We have in betweens, and that's fine. We'll go back to it. So there's a meme going around. I heard Akainu's magma can't melt steel beams, steel bears, steel Kumas. Yeah. So what's with that foot? What's with that foot going on?
Dude, I don't know, man. That's kind of. I really thought Kuma's foot was gone. Like the way Oda drew it made it look like that foot was cooked. But it's here, and so is half of Kuma's face. Well,
I went back and I think a lot of people conflated the Whitebeard moment to the Kuma moment, but it doesn't look the same at all. Like that chapter that Kuma lost his face, it looks the same as here, but the foot is crazy. That Admiral, because everyone has been going on and on, literally waffling about how I like how that's
the word of the day, waffling.
Yeah, it's late. We're thinking breakfast foods.
You're thinking about IHOP, good old Denny's, Waffle House, open 24/7. You better hit that up after this. Yeah, no, I got you, man. I'm hungry too, dude. I cooked some sausages a minute ago because I wanted to eat. That's why I delayed this call till now. But I pulled it out, and the oil spilled on my foot, and it burns. And then I also all the sausages burned too, so I didn't eat dinner now.
And you almost lost your foot.
I almost lost my foot. Yeah. Kainu's magma really hit me. I'm chilling here without a sock on. My foot's bubbling up a little bit. No, I got burn marks, man. That's crazy.
But Kuma's out here making Kainu's magma weaker than your sausage juice. Like
hot sausage oil is stronger than Akainu confirmed.
Like I just want to take again.
No, but here's the thing. Akainu, he seemed like he didn't want to kill Kuma.
So now magma has feelings. Yeah,
he held back. He put no force behind the hit.
Oh, I didn't know Ace's chest. I didn't know Ace's chest.
Here's the thing. Okay. How would you scale this though? Do you think Saturn's piercing spider leg did more damage than Akainu's magma?
I mean, didn't Kuma essentially just it didn't go through him, so no. And then he turned around and caught it, right?
Hey, so Akainu hype.
Oh yeah, but then we look at is Ace's chest weaker than his foot? Not just his foot, his shoe. His shoe survived it too. Unless that was all.
Well, Kuma has hockeyed shoes.
Okay, and so I didn't know that it's crazy that people were like, oh, Kaido's down for the count, right? Because he landed in non-sentient volcanic juice, right? But then Akainu can't kill a boot, a hockey. We're talking about Kaido.
It's a Buccaneer boot though.
Oh,
like these are custom size 18 LeBrons. Or not LeBron, sorry, Shaq. Like these are Shaq shoes, my man. Like it's reinforced with obsidian.
I'm gonna go ask Shaq how he holds up to a volcano because of what you just said.
He can probably survive, Put Shaq in front of a volcano, that man's living.
Shaq a buccaneer? I don't know where you're going with this.
Shaq is the size of a buccaneer. He's like the human buccaneer, man. That's cool.
Yo, guys, don't look up what Buccaneers races are said to be at this moment. Because
aren't they Spanish?
No, I mean in One Piece. Okay. See, Sai, for legal reasons, Sai, this a fictional story. We're talking about a fictional character. Shaq is in the story.
No, he's a real person. We're making fun of the real Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal, come get it.
Shaq, if you want to join the Parcast, feel free to
1v1 in a volcano. Come on.
No, not the 1v. But I this moment broke my brain a little bit because someone
I,
said
was
he
about
still
I
has
thought you were
his
gonna say
leg.
break your heart.
No, man, I ended I got to the end and someone said, "Yo, Kuma has his leg." I was like, "What do you mean?" I completely like auto corrected that thing. My first was like, "Oh, that's his third leg," and like, but then I looked at it and then I was like, "No way!" And then the flood of like Twitter discourse was running through my mind, and I feel like I haven't seen much of it because I don't think people want to run the fade with like a Kainu and his magma, but like. I don't know what to think of this, like, because it really looked like I don't think
I
that.
think all we can say is that Kuma's very durable.
Hey, he has hockey now. That foot is crazy, but like, man, if Kuma's very durable, so is Kaido and Big Mom, right? Like,
And
I
then I
feel
guess
like
so was Zoro, right? Like Kuma was like, "Wow, I would have passed out from that one," and but he didn't.
yeah,
Kuma. Zoro has Buccaneer durability. Zoro might
like
survive the magma too.
you know what have made a little bit more sense is if like because now that when I look back at it, it looked like Kuma popped out, right? Like he popped out, and so
Yeah,
like the magma was around his foot, and he popped out, and so it could have made more sense that the magma went with it. It's super cooled along the way, and that's why he's fine. And so it would have made sense if he was carrying some of his magma here with him, right? But like that's
yeah.
not what we got either. But now I do want to see like can Sanji survive it? Can like Zoro?
Well,
Because
hey,
that
in the latest One Piece video game, I think Odyssey, Sanji actually clashed with the Kainu, with the Kainu's
whoa.
magma.
Like they were at Marineford or
Yeah, yeah,
something?
yeah. Like
Oh.
current day Sanji went to Marineford and he clashed with the Kainu's magma. And I know it's obviously not canon. It's a video game, but Oda wrote it. Oda wrote that in because Oda's like the only writer of that video game. He wrote
Yeah,
the
that's
story,
wild.
all him.
All
I was like,
the
hey, what is he saying about Sanji, man? That's crazy.
all of the playthroughs I've seen, they always were in Alabasta, and I found out it's because that
Yeah,
was the
because that's where
longest.
people usually stop the game.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
it's not. I
too.
don't blame them.
That too.
One Piece needs a good game.
I heard it was the longest part of the story too.
Yeah, the longest and most boring part of the story, just Alabasta for the 10th time in a video game.
Wait, but you made it to Marineford.
I beat the game, yeah,
Ah, okay. Shout outs to Sai. Sai is a
and
pro
that
gamer.
game's awful
God. And Sai plays a
from
lots
a
of
narrative
awful games.
standpoint. To even just like other RPGs out there, I'm sorry, but like I think with how much money One Piece makes, I feel like they could make a decent video game.
Yeah.
It's hard to excuse it.
There's hopes and prayers,
It's
and
like if
then
they
there's
released a One Piece movie and it was CGI. It's like, okay, come on, come on, you guys could have done better.
Dragon Ball gets away
Come
with
on.
it though, right?
Well, yeah, the hardcore Dragon Ball fans love it, but I don't know. I hated the CGI in Superhero.
Yeah, it's a little jarring sometimes. I
Yeah.
saw parts of it. It is pretty jarring. But you know what else is jarring?
What
The,
else?
I mean, right after where we skipped to the Akainu stuff, which I'm sure we'll get back to. But I mean, let's hit the high notes, right? Let's hit the high
Yeah.
notes.
So, wait. Are we
Um,
going to the end of the chapter, or like, are we going back to the in between?
the next page after Bonnie, like the transition of
Oh, the
like
transition. Yeah, yeah. Saturn
yeah.
says that Kuma's dead.
Yeah, I don't want to go to
Stating
the
the
super high
facts.
note because we're about to hit one of the high notes, but like here's one. I
Dragon.
okay, well we could go there. I was gonna go stay on Saturn, but we could go back to Saturn if you want with the dragon part.
Yeah,
What's the high note?
Dragon's kind of just out of nowhere. Is why I brought him up.
Okay, how does this make you feel?
What dragon?
Yeah, this part on the double spread.
I feel like this was Oda's. So this chapter is supposed to come out in January 3rd, 2024. We got it a lot earlier.
Okay.
So with that being the case, I think Dragon is a part of Oda's checklist. He had to put Dragon in this chapter. The Shonen Jump editor said, "Hey, Year of the Dragon, people want him. Bring him in, Oda." And Oda said, "Well, Dragon's notorious for doing nothing. I just got to put him in here." And boom, here we go. We got Dragon.
It's crazy because I can't say I disagree. I think like this is the most menacing Dragon's been. Like Oda gave him like the serious eyes. Like he's
Yeah,
not.
he looks upset.
Yeah, and so like the ellipses was a low key better than like the dialogue we got. It's like
Yeah, where they're wondering where Kuma went. They're like, where do you think he would have gone?
And like I get it
Where would his
because like
instincts take him?
people were saying like, oh, well, like if they don't know that Bonnie's on Egghead, he can't connect the dots. But it's also like there's value to dialogue, and it's like when are we giving Dragon value via dialogue? Because we haven't done that. We've done that like one time throughout all the last. Like we've gotten the most dialogue period for Dragon in the last like 6 chapters, and I feel like there
Yeah.
was one bubble that was worth it, and this isn't one of them. And like because I mean this is I think timeline wise before Sabo comes back, but like or no, does Sabo? Yeah, Sabo comes back
Sambo's
after.
already back.
Sabo's already back by this point. I think Kuma leaves
Yeah.
and then Sabo comes back, right?
Kuma leaves, Sabo comes back. You're right,
And
you're right. So Sabo's already he's here as of right now though.
yeah, he's here like in the current timeline, but like
Yeah.
this is like is so yeah, this is right now. Like Dragon is saying this
Yeah, this is right
right
now.
now. Like Kuma's already at Egghead and Dragon right now is saying still a trace of Kuma in there. Where would his instincts take him? So it's like I don't know how he gets here in time, but like this is the
I think he
problem.
is. I think
This
he
is
still's gonna come.
this is the problem because I didn't know the timeline, but now that I know the timeline, it's like the connecting the dots should happen very quickly. He should know that like okay, he cares about Bonnie. He has a daughter. I'm sure he knows about Bonnie. He might not know that Julie Bonnie is Bonnie, but might know now after hearing a little bit more. He doesn't have Kuma's backstory, but from Sabo knows where Bonnie is going because I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Bonnie told Sabo, "I'm going to Vegapunk," and
Yeah, I'm
so
going
it's
to
like,
Vegapunk, I'm going to Egghead Island.
yeah, and so it's like. I feel like it wouldn't. I mean, he was flexing like their network of information. I feel like Bonnie, like how many Bonnies are in this like in this world for you to connect the dots? Like, oh wait, Bonnie's going back to Vegapunk. How many Bonnies could be related to Vegapunk? Oh wait, Kuma's daughter's name is Bonnie, and she got treated
Well,
at Vegapunk.
it sounds like Sabo connected it really fast. He's like, "Oh, like you're Kuma's daughter."
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm sure Dragon already knows.
Yeah, but like I'm trying to go to the ground. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's working with the scraps here, right? And I feel like those dots click very quickly. It's like there's not many people meeting Vegapunk named Bonnie. So even if Dragon needs to start from ground zero with the logic, I think he'd reach there very quickly. And like you said,
Yeah.
Sabo figured it out instantly. He's like, oh. You're Kuma's daughter. That's crazy. And then it's like, I don't know. It's like, are we saying?
I think Dragon just has to figure out that Kuma's going for Bonnie though.
Yeah, and I feel
Because like
that's not
Ivankov is on the
hard.
revenge path with going to Marie Joie.
Right, but that's because Ivankov might not like know. Like Dragon, he had the whole children thing, and he knows about the child stuff, right? Like so, like Dragon, I feel like is in an easier boat to figure out. It's like there's so many words that you have to go either way. Where it's like this dialogue was just like not meaningful for Dragon. Period. Right? Like it just kind of tells us like, oh, Dragon's very not at Egghead. Like, and this is the irony, right? People thought that he was already here in chapter 1100, but like this is the direct opposite to that agenda. The people were making bets, putting money on the line. Chapter 1100, Dragon was gonna be
The
on
chapter
Egghead.
of Dragon. I felt it, man. I felt it.
And Oda hits us 3 chapters later. No, guys, he's still wondering.
Do you think he is going to come though?
If he comes at the speed of light, that will be so amazing. But that will put so many question marks on everything else. If he could instant teleport to Egghead, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means for all of Kuma's backstory.
Dude, imagine if Dragon. Oh, dude, imagine this. Imagine, when we need him most, we need Dragon, we're about to lose or something, and then you see a magic circle pop up with the Revolutionary Army mark, and then Dragon lands. Oh, dude. Woo! Like, that would be great. That would be great.
Be great for the moment, but the immediate question is like, when did he learn this? And he's like, you know what? I learned this yesterday. That's the only explanation for something.
It's the opposite of the demon circle. It's like the angel circle. I
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
he needs to like if that's the case, right? And he shows up the egghead, whatever means he uses, he needs to say something of like, I've never tested this before, but like
No, no,
risk.
no, no. Let's play devil's advocate. He uses it all the time.
Oh no.
Right when it shows up, the Marines are like, "It's Dragon's Mark. He's coming.
Oh no. It's because
Dragon's landing."
that would mean like that's the direct like he's literally a character that doesn't help any of the revolutions because Ivankov said that his mentality is empowering them, so he doesn't use his power anymore. And so you're telling me, but at the same time, he has the power to instant teleport, period. With the I would lose it. I would lose
I
my
think it'd be
mind.
great. I would love that. So I do want that to happen. I
And
mean,
but
I don't think the magic circle is gonna happen, but I think if Dragon,
can instant teleport. I need him to show up with middle
I
fingers
think he
up.
can.
I need him to show up with middle fingers up just to everybody.
Maybe not instant teleport, but I think he can fly. Definitely, like wind power. Like
Everyone can fly.
he can fly. Exactly.
Can fly.
Well, Doflamingo had to connect to clouds, right?
Barely.
Like, if it was a clear day, Doflamingo's done.
Do you know
He's
how
negged.
you know how crazy One Piece is? It's like this conversation is so in depth where like Law strategized like, oh, I chose a path with no clouds, so Doflamingo couldn't follow us, and Doflamingo still sort of did. And it's like that's how in depth that thought process was. But with Dragon, there's Oda just puts none into the thinking, right? It's like how insane do you have to be like Law to be like, oh, I mapped out the entire world to know where the clouds aren't, so Doflamingo can't follow us. Meanwhile, Dragon is like non-existent, period, and we can't come up with like any side
No.
explanation.
Dragon's gonna come up. This dialogue is meaningful because it's a day after. Dragon is still thinking about his good friend Kuma.
Yeah, a day after, and he's just like, assuming there's
Like,
still a trace of
Par.
Kuma in there, where would his instincts take him?
Okay.
That's a day after.
Replace these characters. Instead of Dragon, it's me. And I'm like, where did Par go? He's been missing for a while.
If you took you a day to say this, I would lose my mind a little bit. I
And
know
then-
why Shaka said.
And
"Yo,
then I'd
I'm
be
the
like, well,
genius."
Par might be in the morgue.
I would be prouder.
Morigua.
I honestly, if Dragon in this moment said like, there goes Kuma, like he's gone, like I'd be like, this makes so much sense.
No, that'd be a good one. Imagine we go to Dragon, he's just like, well, we lost another member.
Yeah, it's like
That's it.
we lost him again. Continue operations.
Dude, that could have been so good. We should have had Dragon throwing his hands up for one. Like, damn, I have no clue. Eva, what do you think?
No, I feel
His
I feel
instincts
like
are kicking in. What's up?
I feel like this is so like because we are laughing and we're doing all this, right? And it's like I'm not entering the fact of like Kuma's tragedy and his backstory because my God, that's when the fury rises up and it's like Dragon.
No.
The same fury of like Dragon doubting Sabo after raising him, right? Like he read the headline, didn't trust the kid he raised. That's the same thing here. Where it's like you're telling me founding member, best buddy, like you watch the guy go through it because his best friend, whatever, then he left you because of this kid. And it's like,
but that is why I think he's coming though.
Like the man left your organization for one thing, the daughter. It's like, I wonder where his instincts would take him. I don't know, the same instincts that made him leave the crew. Like, oh my God, like that's like saying I don't even.
But then again, but here's the thing.
That's like saying
Kuma's
hold on,
a robot though.
Okay.
So who's to say that he's not just going back to Marie Joie? Like in a weird way. If I was in Dragon Spot, I'd be like, dang, I guess he is just going back to St. Charlos, right? It's Charlos's weekend. He has custody over me.
Sure, a day later, this conversation should have been the minute he left.
Yeah, that's fair too. That's fair.
If they thought it was Marriage Joie, they should be at Marriage Joie. Like they shouldn't be this like dense and slow. Like I don't even know. Like,
but here's the thing, like I do think Dragon would go, but if Kuma did go back to Marie Joie, I don't think they'd go back for him. Like they probably have Titan defenses. Titan's there now, Like
historically, Dragon has never showed up to Marriage Joie. Like historically,
so
not
I
for
don't
Ginny,
think he would
not
go
even
there.
for Kuma. He didn't go there himself. He offered his commanders. Like so, Dragon. Listen.
I think he's still going to go to Egghead Island. I think it's going to be ridiculous how he shows up here in time. But here's the thing, even if he doesn't show up here on time, he could show up well afterwards, and this could be like Ohara, where he just shows up, you know, at the burning island, right? Like, imagine Dragon shows up like 2 weeks later, hands in his pocket. He's like, oh, Vegapunk, we lost another good soul out here.
No.
Yeah, no, it could be like that, actually. You know, Dragon's going to come here either today or next month.
Oh, God.
I'm moving the goalposts, as you like to say. It's done. Dragon's going to come.
Listen, I think the only valid copium for Dragon is moving the goalpost, because like I don't know where Oda's goal is for Dragon. Like if he's trying to achieve the most like you know how like Kuma is the dad who came back from getting milk, like Dragon is the dad who went to get milk, and you see him at the gas station and he's not coming home, and you see him constantly like after,
he lives at the
like,
gas station,
and then he's just like he's showing you the milk too, and he's like, yo, there's some good shit right here.
Yeah, no, it's his year, man. I'm gonna say it right here. I think Oda's cooking with this guy. We laugh. We both laugh at him,
cooking,
right?
But like he's eating.
We both laugh at him.
Like,
but he's gonna come. He's gonna come.
Dragon shows up, it's like everybody sees a potential in for him, and Oda's like, no, not yet.
Yeah.
It's like, when?
Oh man. Yeah, but you know who is in though?
Who's in?
Kizaru.
Okay, all right. We hit this high note. Let's hear it.
So, of course, sandwiched in, we have like Bonnie hitting Saturn, but I think the Bonnie, the Bonnie part is like all one. So I think we'll talk about Bonnie here in a second. So we'll talk about the Uber Eats delivery first. We'll talk about who brought Luffy food, because I feel like this has brought up so many conversations.
Yeah.
So obviously, Luffy was like, "Yo, give me food." Atlas, Sanji, Vegapunk, Frankie, they can't move.
Yeah.
And then next we see Luffy, he's got some food, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of theories out there. We got people are saying Sanji did it. I don't know. I don't know where that one came from. Sanji delivering Luffy food, I think is kind of wild. It's not possible at all.
No, but people have been saying. I didn't know people were saying that. Damn.
Somebody said, "Sai, are you forgetting the chef of the Straw Hats?" No, seriously, that's a comment I got. Somebody said, "Sai, don't forget the chef of the Straw Hats. He's here."
So what do they say when like literally the force of God is holding them down? Like we don't understand it. But...
when somebody says that to me, they're like, "Sanji did it," and they don't explain how he's moved. Like, you know, some people, they might have an explanation. That's cool. But when they have no explanation to start with, I'm just like, yeah, maybe that's a convo that doesn't need to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe that's only brushed to the side.
Listen.
So,
like, I can believe it, but it's like, you know, I'll answer after you tell me some more of the people actually.
Yeah. Okay. I'll hit you with the options here.
All right, hit me with the options that you've seen with the vision. Now that your domain expanded.
I will go with least likely to most likely.
Okay.
So I mentioned Sanji. That's a pretty bad one. That's a stinky one, if I say so myself. That's horrible. No offense.
Zero. F tier.
Another one. This was a double whammy. I've heard both, and I consider this almost the same in just how ludicrous it is as well. Boa Hancock.
Not the Seraphim, like actual Boa.
So I've heard Boa Hancock, and then I've heard other people say the Seraphim Boa Hancock.
Okay.
I think they're both on the same scale of ludicrous to me.
Okay, so above Sanji, but like F+.
I put them below Sanji even.
Below? Okay, all right. I can understand why.
I put it below Sanji.
People might be like,
at least Sanji is on the same floor as Luffy. Boa Hancock isn't even on the same island. The Boa Hancock Seraphim is on the Labo phase of this place as well.
To be fair,
they're nowhere close.
They have wings, and there is a pathway down.
They have wings. There's a pathway down, but they're also in bubbles.
Yes, I was gonna bring up a different notion, but we'll keep going. Keep hitting me with more, because you're right. Bubbles. Can't stop bubbles.
Do you have anything to say about the Boa Hancock one? Like, do you agree with those?
No, I agree that it's dog water tier.
Dog water tier.
Yeah.
Another one was Atlas, which I think is also pretty bad.
I
mentioned Atlas at first.
I have Atlas in
I think
that's
honorable. Because I mentioned Atlas at first,
Uh-huh.
because I didn't realize that Atlas was still stunned, and then I read the chapter and I was like, oh no, Atlas is gone. Atlas is
Yeah.
out. Atlas
And
even has dialogue that says, I would if I could.
yeah, and so
So yeah, no.
my honorable reason is because there's an option that is available that could make sense, and it could be via Atlas, but it might not be Atlas
Oh, like
themselves.
hologram.
Hologram, like we've seen them
Yeah.
being able to hear into other satellites, their thing. So it's like
Yeah.
maybe there's a way that like a seraphim got involved, and the best one I think of the seraphim, there's two of them. It would be Kuma or the Jinbei one, and both of them could there's a reason they're not high on my list, but they both would be what falls under the stealth category, because I think that whoever did it would have to be stealthy. If it's not Kizaru,
Oh yeah.
they'd have to be stealthy, and if it is Kizaru, he's
And
like, oh my god,
I'm
so
not gonna
crazy.
lie, man. Like the Seraphims are not stealthy to me, even with those abilities, just because of how big they are and because of their flame.
But here's the thing.
I just feel like it's something you would definitely notice.
Here's the thing. Kuma was able to shoot Mihawk like that seraphim out right in front of Luffy, Zoro, Lucci, and Kaku, and they're like, where did he go? But it was a Kuma bubble thing, and that's instantaneously, like, we have proof of, like, literally. My thing is, like, we had Lucci, Zoro, Kaku, and Lucci all, or I might have said the names right, but they all have observation hockey. They all were like, oh, where did he go? They actually missed him, right? And my criteria here is, if it's not Kizaru, and Kizaru didn't switch sides, which we'll get to, I'm sure, then you'd have to have a person who stealthed in an encirclement of vice admirals, a Gorosei member who literally is looking at people in a giant spider form up in the sky, basically, an admiral who has observation hockey, and then everyone else is also confused equally.
Like 9 vice admirals and like all the fodder marine possible.
Yeah. So the stealth has to be there, and the reason why I'm leaving S Bear there is because we did have our Yonko not be able to perceive where the bubble thing went, and then S Jinbei or S Shark could work, but then it's not as stealth. Like I'm sure they would see the bubbling of the water and a giant fishman baby child come out of the thing,
splashing on the ground like Magikarp.
And then the other hard part of the S Shark would be carrying the food, whereas S Bear could do it, but like it's still not my favorite.
And even
option.
then, we'd have to see somebody give them the order to do it, and we'd also have to see them get out of the bubble and then come downstairs.
In which
it's just not possible.
Enable it makes it further down. Exactly what you said is like, why it's not high up for me.
If it's them, it would be a really bad mystery.
And here's another example, like all of the mysteries we've had in Egghead, how in depth has Oda been in explaining them? It's literally been a panel. It's been a York Trader, one panel basically. It was like maybe 2 panels of explanation, and then York is like, "Yup, I'm the traitor, Seraphim," and it's like, all right, cool,
yeah,
boom, done. And so many other ones have just been like, oh, I wonder what this is, and
then we've had like 2 or 3 points that actually point to them too.
Yeah, and the more convoluted you've gotten, the worse off the further you've gotten from it, right? And I could see this one being a little convoluted, but like I feel like whatever choice you go, if you can't mentally answer it in 2 panels or like half a page, throw it out or put it in the F tier.
Like I feel like the Seraphim one needs like a page.
Yeah,
not even a panel. That's like a page.
Like the amount of, like, it has to be Atlas hears it, someone on the other side is competent, overhears it, takes them out of the bubble, they do the stuff, and then you see the food transferring. It's like, I don't know if we're devoting a page to this.
The real life Boa Hancock one, we need like a whole ass chapter.
Yeah.
That one's cooked. That one is cooked.
I did not hear the full Boa Hancock, but
the real Boa Hancock is here.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, Sai, she brought Luffy food on Amazon Lily.
Who's the other options then?
The next option, this one was kind of a meme. I think they didn't read the chapter. I think that's why they said it. They said Sentomaru.
Okay, no. All right, no. Yeah, that doesn't, like, Kizaru's out here worried about
Sentomaru.
Sentomaru, it'd be the listen, guys. Stealth is so important. I fought people were like,
no, Sentomaru is literally chained up while this is happening.
I don't like so many people brought options and I got upset during my stream. I was like, guys, stealth is important. People are like, no, it's not important. I was like,
Wait,
okay,
who did you hear?
who here for what?
Like for who did this?
I think the most ridiculous one was and at the time react there wasn't as many options. I
Dude,
think you already hit me with more options than not. But like I
dude,
forgot who someone said I think someone said like Robin was an option, but she's higher up in my opinion than anyone else. I think someone said Frankie. I don't know. And it's the same thing with the
I
Sanji
can't
thing.
wait. I can't wait until next chapter, and it's everyone we were laughing at just now. It was all three of those Seraphim. It was the real Boba Hancock. It was Sanji, Atlas, and Sentomaru, and we have like a whole chapter dedicated to them making food for Luffy.
Like the chapter's titled
we feel so
DoorDash.
stupid.
Like it's a sponsored chapter. Oda sells out finally. It's
Yeah.
like all the delivery companies. Oh no.
And it's just all of them, like every
Yeah.
character we just made fun of. It's even
Yeah.
Frankie's in there too, making food.
Oh my
That'd be
goodness.
great. That'd be so good.
Yeah,
Uh,
like another one would be here's not a bad option. I like it, but it wouldn't make sense. It was like Kuma pawing the fruit over or the food over.
Yeah, I
But,
heard
like,
that one too.
Like look at how Kuma shot into the island. Like you people would see the food falling
Yeah.
and slamming into the ground and like
Like a giant paw bubble full of food, just pop, just
yeah,
right in
like
front of
we have
Luffy.
yet to see like Luffy. I think no, every single time all the Straw Hats like literally Brooks' entrance was so traumatic that they thought that they summoned the devil, like himself. Like that's what it
Yeah,
looks
and there's like
when
there's like a fucking trademark too. Like what? Like whenever Kuma delivers something, there's like the paw bubble mark on the floor.
and that was I was entertaining that, but people brought other options where it's like stealth was very ignored, and I'm like, guys, look at the page, like it's an entire we see everything, and like the whole point. I feel like the whole point of it's like everybody's watching, like there's
Yeah.
focus here, and the only moment they broke their focus when Kuma was landing like a rocket on the other side of the island, and that's like probably the moment this food was delivered. But you're not selling me on a giant like seraphim walking through just do. Here's the food, and then this do out. Like that doesn't make sense. None of that makes sense, which is why S Bear is also very low on my thing, because he would also have to paw in a way that they would like see it. I feel like because he's technically up there.
At least catch him
I don't
for a
know.
second.
Yeah.
The next option would be Robin. Robin is next on the list. There's not a lot left.
Okay. Robin's
but-
not awful though, right?
Robin's not awful.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you know, we're eventually gonna get to the really good ones, so Robin has
Yeah.
to come up eventually. But I don't
Okay.
like the reasonings for Robin, or at least some of the reasonings I've seen.
Uh-huh.
One of the reasonings is because somebody said that the hands look like Robin hands.
Yeah, that was my first instinct, and I reread the chapter. And I was
Yeah,
just-
and then I really don't agree with that. These are Luffy hands. They're like, but
Yeah.
there's 1,000 hands out here. Like, no, he's just moving at the speed of light. Like Luffy's just eating fast.
and if it were Robin, I would appreciate it only for the fact that would be like a Oda like giving you the vibe that Robin was here through the hands, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, but it's actually Luffy. But then he's like, oh, it was Robin. That'd be kind of cool. But like at this point, since there's Luffy's hands, I think there's better options.
Yeah, and I feel like we'd see like at least the Hana flowers popping out or something, or like
Yeah.
we'd see the hands coming out of the ground rather than like from Luffy. I just
Yeah.
feel like it's Luffy hands. So for that reason, I don't like it. But Robin is missing. We haven't seen Robin in like I think 15 chapters, maybe.
And she's known to be stealthy. That's her entire character persona. She has done this before, so
yeah.
like it's there. It's there. And there's a
just-
pathway down also.
Yeah, there's a pathway down. Just the Robin coming down though would be a little bit hard because the pathway down that we're talking about is it's the Cloud Road, right?
Yes.
That got blown.
Kizaru shot a part of it, but we don't know like the structure of floating is a weird thing. 'Cause, like,
it's a
Milky-
weird one.
Mil-
She
the
could
Milky-
technically fly down.
Yeah, she can fly, but we've seen the Milky Road thing, like when Usopp
Yeah.
and Nam, like it floats, like it can't. These are clouds, so Kizaru might have blown apart, but like maybe she just thought. But again, it's convoluted. Maybe we get a goofy chapter where Oda shows us a bunch of hands making staircase, and they wouldn't see it because it would be on top of it, and she just tosses the food when everyone looks at the Kuma thing. And it's like that I could mentally see being covered in like a single like half page. I could see that. Comical,
Yeah.
funny, haha, got us, Oda. Cool, right? That's why Robin I don't think is awful. I just don't think it's the best option.
And Robin, if it is Robin, she would have had to acted really fast, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like one page, give me food. We skip down one page of Bonnie hitting Saturn, and then Luffy has food. Like, Robin would have to act at the speed of light and
Yes.
know where to find food in the span of maybe less than a minute.
Yeah.
Like, Robin would have to do all of this, which would be
which I can't explain,
too hard.
but I'll say that for later.
Are you going to say the vending machine?
No, I was just gonna say like the food was right there. So this is my first
Oh, like
thing
nearby?
to give you to the sense, right? So someone super chatted saying like they thought it was Kizaru because there was a ramen bowl and it was like the same ones they had the marine ship. But then I did them the thing. I looked at all the food and there's burgers, fries, and whatever. That's the same food that they gave Cypher Pole and the Straw Hats were eating in Labo phase. All the same food. And the main one being the drink. There's like a fountain soda drink there.
Yeah.
And that's only in like there's no way the Marines had that. Like burgers, fries, maybe, but the fast food McDonald's like legit thing, like
So the
that's in the
machine.
Labo phase. And it's like at least I can put Robin in the same room as all of that
Yeah,
food.
that's why
Right
Robin
before-
isn't a horrible option.
Yeah, like who's to say they ate all that food? That food could still be there, and that's the food that she gave Luffy, right? Like it's literally panel, Robin's there, food's all there. It's perfect. So
it
it's
could
like,
even be the Cypher Pole agents. Maybe they had leftovers. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, drop it for our savior.
and maybe they trained like that. Those Cypher Pole agents that were infiltrating there. Maybe there's a eighth secret Rokushiki move that
Oh
makes
my
them
gosh.
invisible. Like I don't know. Like
Or they just like saw Luffy and just said, okay, let's just drop it. And then
Yeah,
just
yeah,
drop
like-
from the sky.
they did the dude perfect, but like with his burgers and fries, they dropped it from
Yeah,
Labo.
yeah, just perfect aim.
Yeah. Oh
All
my
right.
God, this
So
is what a
we're
YouTube
narrowing
channel.
down the list. Only 3 options left.
Okay. I might
The
have
next
some to add.
option is Luffy creating the food.
Okay, I heard this.
I don't like, I mean, I like the idea, and I feel like he can do it. I think Luffy can do it, but I don't think he has the energy for it, 1.
Yes.
And 2, I think Oda would nerf that ability to where if Luffy creates food, it wouldn't taste good or it wouldn't be sufficient.
yeah, it'd be that when someone said that, it's not that I didn't like it. It was just that's way too broken. You're making a character who's a god and can refuel himself. That's insane. You know what I mean?
Fire
At least-
Sanji, you know, we don't need a chef anymore.
Yeah, like at least Superman has to fly into all of the suns in the universe to power up, right? Like that's what he needs. You're telling me the sun god Nika can just make his own meat? That's wild. And eat his own meat. That's some crazy
Yeah, a new
wild.
Yeah, self-suck. Yeah, it's the
That's
basket. He's got the
wild.
basket technique going on.
Yeah, and so it's like I don't want like that because I know if that's the case, that's the memes that other fandoms are gonna run with. Oh, your MC self sucks. Like I don't want that. I don't want that at all.
It's gonna happen. I mean, he's already like sucks his thumb to like power up to gear 30. He technically blows his thumb. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know which one is worse.
Listen, like this is how like we were cosplaying as lawyers earlier, but this is how lawyers think. You got to know what people are going to throw at you to know what you got to throw at them, right? And so it's like self suck is not something I want to support with our don't make me Oda, but listen, there's better options. So hit me with the next one.
The next one we have is Caribou.
Okay, so I know that I can add to this list because you probably heard of it, but you don't like it, and I don't like it either.
Oh no, hit
Because
me
one
with
is-
it. Okay. So let's. What's your option?
I don't know
Unless it's better. If it's better than Caribou, then save it for after Caribou.
it's not better than Caribou because
Okay.
Caribou, you know me, I've been making videos on.
You
Caribou.
look like Caribou.
That is disrespectful. That was crazy.
Sorry. I saw it. I was looking at the camera. I was like, Caribou's in here, guys.
That is woo damn. All right, gloves are
That's
off.
racially
Don
fueled, man.
Chin Zhao.
That is racially fueled.
Don Chin Zhao over
Hey, at least
here,
call me
bro.
Don Sai. It fits, man. It fits.
That is all right. See, this is why no one in the comments can say this. I will. I'll remember names. Sai is the host here.
Hey, I might have to I know what the thumbnail's gonna be.
Oh no! Listen,
Oh,
if
it's
you do that,
over.
you're signing him up to be the 10th straw hat. All I'm gonna say. If you don't want that to
Yeah, it's
happen,
fine.
then don't.
I like Caribou, man. I like Caribou. I've always
And
liked Caribou.
as far as what I was gonna say, I feel like you've heard of it,
What is
and
it?
there's one reason I like it, and it's not better than Caribou, and it's Smoker.
So I haven't been hanging around the mental asylum that often, at least this week. So I haven't heard Smoker.
Dude, no way you
Can
haven't heard
you?
Smoker.
No. Actually, I can do a little comment search right now. Let me look it up. I'll type in Smoker and see if anybody. Yeah, I'll ban everybody that said Smoker.
So
I'm kidding, I won't ban.
Someone
Good
threw
joke,
this
good joke.
out, and
Smoker.
they didn't bring up the reason why I like Smoker. They were like,
No
oh,
Smoker.
when you look at the panels, there's smoke behind Luffy, and there's random smoke all over. And I was like, I mean, they're in the war zone, whatever, right? But the reason why I like Smoker is because this is a very Oda thing. What did Oda do after 8 years last chapter? He brought Smoker back.
Yeah, Smoker was there, man.
That is the only reason why I like this option, because that's like low key, like Oda did that with Bogard. It's like he showed us in the off side on the thing, and then he actually put him in, and then thereafter live action, it's like this character that hadn't shown up in like 15, 20 years. And it's like Smoker is actually a character that people like. Like he shows up in like
We like him so much
polls.
Oda doesn't bring him in.
And
it's like Akira Toriyama and GT.
In the anime, they also gave him like a really, I feel like they showed Smoker. No, they didn't show. I forget what happened with the Smoker has been popping off in the timeline after he showed up in the last chapter. And Oda also leaked that page. It's not just a random page. No, Oda chose that page to leak at Jump Festa. So
yeah, Oda was thinking about the Smoker fans. Yeah.
And
He cares about us.
Some of the biggest YouTubers are Smoker fans. Like low key, they don't all show their sleeves, but they love Smoker. And all I'm gonna say is that, like, hey, smoke in the background. Maybe this is payback. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe Smoker has a chip off his shoulder from Alabasta from the Gorosei, making him take the credit. I don't
put
know.
this below Robin.
Yes.
And above the Seraphim. I think that's where Smoker belongs.
I don't even want to rate this one, because if this happens, it's literally purely off of knowing Oda for 25 years, and that means that we're like huffing the Oda ganja at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because no other sane reader, like if you took someone who reads books for a living, right, and they went through this thing and they were trying to guess here, and they're like, oh, that's great writing. No, it's like, no, that's just like an Oda thing to, like, he brought back the character and he hyped them up at like a real life event, just like Shanks before Film Red, and then boom, he's in the series. Like, no, like actual like literary person who studies like literature would think like, oh yeah, that's a good choice, right? But
yeah,
it's there because we know Oda. That's why.
Yeah. Like if Smoker pops up here, I'd be hyped for maybe like 10 minutes, and then I'd be like, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. And then here's my counter to it, is that again, it has to be someone who's like several times over has stealth that like an not admiral level, but like really prominent characters have ignored.
And plus they would have to explain why Smoker wasn't announced to be here too, since he's also a vice admiral.
Yeah, and there's a lot of loops to go through, and if it's Smoker, I'm not gonna be mad. But then we get a page, and I'm not gonna be mad. But like Caribou at the minimum has a rapport of like hiding in front of very powerful characters and hearing ancient weapon conversations, and like this is no different. You know what I mean? Like he's witnessing. This is like a Wapol moment watching the Gorosei. That's a Caribou like thing to be like, oh god, I saw the Gorosei. Like there's no going back. I need to feed Luffy now. Like someone get him meat. And he did this on Wano. So it's like, it's again, there's like 6 different ways you spin it. It's like, why else is he here in this arc? Like, this is literally his MO. Capturing food, giving it to Luffy, hiding in the most important moments of the post time skip. This is it. This is the moment. I could see it.
Okay, so Caribou. I don't get me wrong. I'm not putting my money here, but I
Yes.
like the Caribou option for those reasons that you just said. It's
Yes.
his MO. He's known for having food. He is pretty stealthy because, you know, obviously nobody really cares about him. He's a freaking loser.
Yes.
But the reason why I don't like Caribou is because of how fast this would have had to gone down.
Yeah.
The speed of
I agree
it
with you.
doesn't make sense. And what also doesn't make sense is the placement. So in Wano, Caribou didn't even go to Onigashima. Like that guy wanted no smoke. He was
Right.
Yeah, he did not want to fight. He's not a guy who gets in the action. So Caribou coming down here to the 9 Vice Admirals and Saint Saturn doesn't seem plausible for me.
Right.
Caribou is a man who avoids danger.
And last we saw him, he was in a barrel on the ship.
In the Labo phase. He was upstairs.
The main issues to that is that who are the characters going there? Was it Chopper? Chopper was going there, right?
To where?
No, who was going towards the Thousand Sunny? It was like Frankie?
It was Jinbei. Jinbei had the boxes going to the Thousand Sunny. York was there, but the people who were supposed to go there in the beginning was Luffy, Bonnie, Frankie, and York. Or not York, Lilith.
Lilith. Okay.
Yes.
So that's the interesting part, right? Like if Frankie were there, he would know more about Caribou, I guess. But like, the only way it makes sense is like if someone knew like what Caribou can do and help or whatever, that it'd be that instant. But none of those characters are like that, right? Like what Jinbei wouldn't really know. He just showed up on Onigashima. He has no knowledge really of how Luffy revived on Wano. Nobody really has that knowledge, to be fair. And it's like Caribou would have to volunteer that knowledge, and so the process of the events would be Atlas is like, I want to get the thing. Lilith hears that. Lilith explains like out loud, like, oh man, Luffy needs food. And then Caribou is like, I got this. And so they toss his ass, but there's no stealth there. That's the hard part, because like, are they all missing the goop falling from the sky?
He'd be like Luffy coming into Marineford, right? Just falling from the sky.
Yeah. And then the other part of it is that the side note is that when he wants to be stealthy, he is, but all the times Luffy has sensed him. He sensed him as a wild beast. And so it's like, and I'm assuming who your number one option is, if that man Kizaru is not switching sides and does as an admiral cannot sense Caribou, that is wild to me. You know what I mean? Because to me, that is the biggest reason why Kizaru is the best option. Because if he's not flipping sides,
is Kizaru your number one?
Yeah. He's not yours?
No.
Oh.
I forgot about Kizaru. Yeah, no, there's a better option.
Okay. Oh, who's the better option then? Hit me with the
better option. Sorry to cut you off there.
Oh yeah, no.
How do you feel about Monkey D. Dragon? And the reason why is because Monkey D, MD, is the same as McDonald's. And the food Luffy has here, burgers, fries, pizza, come on,
dude.
You
might as well have told me
Monkey D. Dragon.
Kong. You might as well have told me this is Kong's special power.
Wait, no.
Marineford is the M's, the McDonald M's, and so that's why Kong is the one.
I'm kidding. Dragon was a joke. Dragon's a joke. My real number one, as you might have guessed.
You couldn't have fooled me.
I'm sorry. It's actually Ace.
Oh,
it came back from the dead.
Man. Yeah.
The donut man's here.
Yeah,
he's got delivery.
He has a monopoly on donuts, so he expanded to all fast foods.
Yeah, I can already hear it now. Luffy, just dropping food down from heaven.
That was a really good impression. I like that.
No, that was horrible. Stop.
Oh, no.
So number one is Kizaru.
Yeah.
And I'd say Kizaru is pretty high up there. I mean, we got the light speed. We have the fact that nobody would suspect him.
Clones,
of course. This is right when Luffy said, "Give me food." The first thing that we saw was Kizaru saying, "Sentomaru-kun, Bonnie." Yeah. And then he was laying on the ground. We go to after Luffy got the food. 2 panels after Luffy gets food, we see Kizaru with a ... And guess what? He's leaning up right now. He's changed his little position. He's no longer laying flat on the floor. I feel like it's Kizaru. Yes. He's helping his friend. He's helping Luffy so Luffy can help his friends.
Yes.
I feel like it's him. He has the unclear justice, the ramen bowl, might I add, right? You checked it yourself. It's the same ramen bowl, same design, right?
To be fair, there's the ramen
yeah.
bowl in Labo phase as well. The
Okay.
Cypher Pole agents had that ramen bowl too.
Yeah, it's an Egghead exclusive ramen bowl.
No, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
Oh, and I was going to say, another reason why Kizaru would be a good option here is because if this is all vending machine food, Kizaru's been on this island. He knows where to get the food. He has the knowledge.
Yes, exactly. That was like I have more points, but that's like the strongest one where it's like, yes, all the characters on Labo phase, they could do it, but like this is his homie's place, and I was saying like if you're homies with somebody, you know where the food is at. Like if you're a homie with somebody and you don't know where their food is at in their house, are you really homies? You're not. Like all my homies like that. Feel free to get food yourself, raid the pantry, raid the fridge. That's trust. And Kizaru should know. Kizaru should know everything about Egghead. He split a pizza with everybody. He danced with food.
We see that. We see a pizza here too. We see pizza here too.
Exactly. So like Kizaru is the main man. There's more to it too.
We have to respond to why it can't be Kizaru.
Okay.
So one of the main notions of why it can't be Kizaru that I've seen is that one, he's a part of the Navy and he's a bad guy.
See, should I go or do you want to go?
You can go. I've been fighting this war for a long time.
Okay, see, this is where I think like the ultimate thing comes into play is when Oda's airing out his inner thoughts, he's saying the names of the people currently held hostage by the Navy, Sentomaru-kun and Bonnie. He would
put
not
the kun in there. He put the kun in there, bro. Come on.
And hey, we have to wait for the translations, but I'm sure the translations team did not mess up to 2 exclamation points that he has with Bonnie's name. He's watching his boss manhandle a 12-year-old girl, and he's like, I cannot stand by this. I need to be on the right
side.
He
has like been with for a while too. Like this isn't like a stranger, like a top enemy.
Well, like somewhat. Like he's friends with her dad. Somewhat. He's friends with the dad, and the dad. He cried for the dad. Like that's significant. He cried for the dad. Split pizza with the dad. Danced with the dad, and the daughter was there. He
tipped the fedora to the dad.
We're not gonna say Kizaru's a weirdo and he knew the daughter. It's a friend's daughter, and he's just a good guy.
And it's the same friend group.
Yeah, like listen, if Sai had a daughter and she was being held hostage by my boss, I would probably turn tail against my boss too.
You know what? I'd do the same thing for your kid.
Yeah, and we would
I got you, man.
The white dude to beat up my boss. Like I don't know what parallel analogy we get from this, but if all it takes is me feeding the dude McDonald's
and laying on the floor, shoot, it's over, man. It's over.
I have the power of light speed clones, all that stuff. So like when someone says like, yeah, he's the Navy guy, he's on the Navy side, he literally backtalked Saturn going into the island. Saturn's like, oh, why can't we just do this? And he's like, well, that's not efficient, sir. You're kind of dumb for that. And
yeah, he's like, I gotta see my good friend Sentomaru-kun who's laying his life down.
Yeah, so he already was like, let's not do that, Saturn. And now he's literally, his inner monologue is literally anti everything the Marines are doing right now. Like, he would not be like Sentomaru-kun, Bonnie. Like, he'd be like, good riddance. This is just the job. I'm a corporate
and then plus, I don't want to be mean, but I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off. But if you don't think Kizaru has a chance, like a 0% chance of switching sides, you might be reading with your eyes closed.
Kuzan? Akainu would probably switch sides.
I mean, not even that, but like Kizaru at least 5 times now in this arc has mentioned how he doesn't want to do any of this.
Yeah. Like he actually likes the people. Yeah, and it's been progressively so.
It bewilders me when people say there's a 0%. Like, maybe if you don't like the idea, that's totally fine. That's an opinion, right? You don't like Kizaru doing it, sure. Yeah. Woo, it's Robin. That's fine. But to say that it's a 0% chance to be Kizaru is wild. Because that would mean you would have to actively skip dialogue. You'd actively have to skip out on panels.
Yeah,
Like
and
maybe if you're speed reading One Piece, you're like, you glance over to the side, you look at that necklace, and you're like, wow, that is the sun. Then yeah, sure, woohoo. Like Kizaru's not gonna do it, but
that straight
like
shot.
even if you hate Kizaru, you have to admit there's like at least the smallest a 25% chance that it's him.
Listen, like the, if there's anything Oda is at least known for, if this was a side character, sure. This is an admiral. Like Oda makes main characters super dynamic, especially the ones adjacent to like the main focus. But like here we have an admiral getting his shine. Look at what happened with Kuzan. Heck, even Akainu in his last dialogue had so much like personality in it. Where
Yeah,
it's
he was like, oh, Kuma, where are you going?
like we saw so many lines. I remember people reading into the puppet line of like, oh, like Akainu's saying this, but he's really saying this about himself. I'm like, damn, dude, you're reading really far into
Damn,
these
dude,
lines.
yeah.
Like it could be straightforward, it could be not. But the fact that
Like,
Oda did
damn,
that with
brother.
Akainu, it's like, how can you not do that with Kizaru? How are we not doing? Where's this energy for the other admiral where Kuzan literally is on the other side of the aisle? And we're not even saying Kuzan is going to do that. All we're saying is feeding the man. Like that's it. He's not.
Yeah, we're not saying Kizaru's killing every Marine here, right?
Yeah.
Like people are acting like it's blasphemous. Like, oh god, like you're telling me Kizaru's gonna murder people? What?
Yeah.
Like, no, he's feeding Luffy.
This is the least treasonous thing. Like he's not killing anybody. He's not fighting anybody. He's like, you know what? Maybe I'll help the other side just a little bit.
Dude, my favorite one though.
What's the counter? Hit me with it.
It's like maybe one or two people. It's not a majority, but I always love the ones where they're like, but Luffy's a Yonko though. Like Luffy shouldn't get help from admirals. And it's like, brother, Luffy's received help whenever he can get it. Like Luffy's the love machine out here. He's the Nakama converter. Like that is his strongest power. He makes friends every other day.
Okay, like is this less help than Jack fighting all of the minks, Sulong minks? Like I'm pretty sure feeding someone burgers and fries is not the same thing as like blocking like what Kuma did to Bonnie in this chapter, or Jinbei holding a kind of like that's help. This is just like I'm trying to think of like an equivalent here, but like Kizaru is just balancing the beam, right? In Caribou's moment when he fed Luffy, he was like, this man is my only ticket off of this island, and if Kaido's running it, I'm back in Udon prison. He had a reason to help, right? We're not even saying that in this moment. Kizaru, we don't even know. The minimum we're thinking is like, okay, Bonnie's in the hands of the guy. If I feed Luffy enough, he could at least distract him, right? Like that's the minimum.
Bonnie might be able to escape. Sentomaru might escape. Like this is like this will save my buddies.
Like feeding Luffy in this moment isn't even winning. It's not like if Kizaru wants to commit treason, and that's like what people are fighting against, then he would just get up. He would get up and fight. Like no, that's not like he just wants to. The current situation is not in his favor. His friends and daughters in the
he wants to change the scene.
Yeah, and he's like, again, it's like by feeding Luffy food, it's not the equivalent of treason at this moment. If it were, he would just get up and do it, right? Like,
but there's also the people who are saying that Luffy wouldn't accept food from a Navy admiral,
and that's wild.
Yeah,
like Oda,
it's like. It's almost like they think Luffy's Tomorrow Black. Like, I'm an emperor of the sea. I would never take this food from a marine.
Like, I feel like
it's like, I don't know about that.
Every instance, it's like food regardless, eaten, gone, zip. Big Mom's food, gone, eaten. He ate her cake. Like
honestly, assuming Luffy is able to, see who actually gave him the food, if Kizaru did it, I wouldn't be surprised if Luffy pats this guy in the back later. Like, thanks, man. You know what I mean? Like Luffy would not care. Ain't no way.
Honestly, I'm gonna triple down on that. I think that Kizaru will be annoyed once he feeds Luffy. Kizaru's gonna be annoyed because Luffy's gonna treat him better than Fujitora, and Fujitora was like it was just like, why are you treating me like blah blah? You're just assuming blah blah. And he was like, and then afterwards he was nice. Kizaru, like Luffy's gonna be like, this is a good guy right
Imagine
here.
Luffy starts speaking slow, so to like even out with
Yeah, yeah,
Kizaru to be nice. Yeah,
he starts
like a
calling,
good
like at that
gag.
point, Kizaru's the 10th Nakama.
That
That's
would be,
like,
dude. That'd be so funny.
oh my god, people. I think all sides would lose their mind. But at the end of the day, like if Caribou's not joining the crew and he fed Luffy, then I don't think we should conflate like Kizaru. If he fed him, he's like that. But I think I'd love that because then like Luffy's relationship with Kizaru would be hilarious. He'd be like, my good buddy Kizaru, and Kizaru's like,
Yeah.
oh, like he's just like,
Sanji gets competitive. Like, let me show you what real food looks like,
yeah,
Kizaru.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll show you what's up. You try to feed my captain. That's hilarious.
And I think like from a like memes aside, jokes aside, even without diving that deep, I think the fact that like Kizaru is here eliminates in my mind, unless someone has a straight up stealth ability, they cannot do it. Because if Kizaru's not on their side, he's clearly conscious. Like he wouldn't be allowing the Yonko to be eating, and like he's an like what are we saying about Adam? I know Akainu couldn't melt Kuma's foot, but this is so different. You're telling me someone snuck through an admiral's observation hockey and he wasn't allowing it to happen, because that is the minimum I want to draw the line. If it is someone other than Kizaru, Kizaru had to have allowed it to happen, which still
And is
basically
still
means the same
allowing
thing.
it to happen, right? Because Luffy's
Exactly.
eating, they're saying somebody stop him, and then Kizaru is just sitting there. He can obviously move. He's just chilling. He doesn't want to
Yeah.
stop him.
Yeah. Like
You're saying
it's
eat
just,
away, eat away.
it's just the wildest thing that like I went through all the options. I'm not the one to not entertain the other things. You guys can go back. People are like, oh, Pars is closed minded. No, I thought about a lot of them, even to the smoker route.
No, open it up. I'm closed minded. It's either Caribou or Kizaru.
Like Kizaru
Or
just
Robin.
makes
Robin's
so
fine too.
much sense, and I get
Don't like it,
like half of the thing is like
but
maybe
it's okay.
we're coming with the predisposition of Kizaru flipping sides, and like maybe that's never been in Oda's book, but like this is not flipping sides. Like,
It's in Oda's book, dude. It's in his name.
but like but my point is like this is not, even if Kizaru did this, like this is still not flipping sides. Like this is like almost the equivalent of Lucci teaming up with Luffy against the Seraphim.
Lucci.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
because like you could run with that and like, oh, Lucci's a tenth Nakama at that moment, but it's like no, he was doing it in the moment, and then boom, the moment that he saw the opportunity, Kizaru shows up, he switches. Right? It could be that for Kizaru, but like also there's been dialogue that makes it feel like, yo, look at all the admirals. Like this
They're
conversation
people
of
too.
that the conversation of admirals being these dynamic characters that counter the world government, the navy, civil war with the world government. There's so many theories outside of this moment that lead to like, yo, the admirals flipping sides. You could look at
Yeah.
like so many other parts of the story and still come to the conclusion that the admirals would be against the world government. And this is just like in your face, like, yo, like we've been seeing so many moments of Kizaru being like, this ain't me, dog. Like, I'm not about this. And this is the moment he's like, Santamaru, Bonnie, what could I do? Oh
Yeah.
man, they just said we could feed Luffy. That's the issue. And then boom, A plus B equals C. Like, I don't know, like 1, 2,
The
3.
only admiral that seems to like the world government is probably Green Bull. And even then,
Yeah.
I feel like if Akainu betrays the world government, Green Bull would too, since he's trying to get his praise. Like it just that's just how it is.
And
I don't think
and
any
if
of the
he
admirals are going to
didn't-
be on the world government side.
And if Green Bull didn't, it still would make it still would make sense with his character. But we're taking in the context of the thing.
Yeah.
We're not looking at like a single panel. But like that's what this idea is just like. Yo, it's not. It's like 7 different angles where it's like Kizaru just makes the most sense. Through and through, whether it's marine food, whether it's labo phase food, who the person who's can do it light speed, has clones, like has a motive, has
They can
the MO.
benefit.
Like he's also the guy who can also technically put Luffy down for a momentary notice, right? Like there's so
Yeah.
many like as far as characters who want to buff up Luffy on the enemy side, Smoker doesn't make sense either. Lucci doesn't. Some people said Lucci. And, oh yeah, some people said Kaku. That was the one. I'm like, Giraffe, Lucci, they're not stealthy. I don't care. CP0 has not
Kaku was
shown
last
any
seen in a
stealth
bubble
feats.
too.
Yeah, none of them have shown stealth feats either. CP9 is the most stealthy they've been. And CP0 has been not stealthy every single time we've seen them. Literally, Orochi shot one of the CP0. They're not good at their jobs. Like, I don't stop it. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, and plus, like, Kizaru does not seem motivated to stop Luffy either, right? You got all the Marines yelling, "Get him!" And then Kizaru's just like, you know, Kizaru knows what Luffy's capable of, right? The man shot him down. So if anybody would say stop him, Kizaru would be like, "Yo, get that food away from him." You know, like, don't let him power back up.
And I feel like people are like gassing up like whatever damage they think happened to an admiral like Kizaru in the fight with Gear 5. And I it just baffles me that Akainu and Kuzan could have a 14-day all-out fight. And it's like Luffy and Kaido went all out and Luffy died like 4 times and Kaido was still fine. And it's like, I'm sure Kizaru has more stamina. Even without the agenda, like I don't even care about the agenda. It's like, it's weird that he's put down by it to the point that in the story, Saturn's like, yo, it's weird that you're put down by this. Like, it's in the story that it said that like we have a character that said that to Kizaru. His boss said that. Like it feels like Kizaru's acting. Like there's so much to it. And then we get this panel and it's like, this is literally what we thought would happen. And I feel like it just makes the most sense. And maybe this is why Kizaru was introduced feeding Saturn. He's just a guy who's like, yo, everybody can eat. That's fine with me. And then when Luffy says the thing that he said to Kaido and Kizaru hears it, he's like, you know what? That's cool by my book. You want all your friends to eat? Me too. You know, like that's cool. Maybe that's Kizaru's dream. Who do we know? But hey, if the meme of him being the ganja god and he's like always has the munchies, like that could make sense. Everybody got to eat.
Hey,
who knows?
It works out. I'm glad we're both on the same boat with Kizaru though. Would you put your money down on that one?
Yeah, I'd put money on Kizaru.
$5 done.
The amount of pages you need to explain it is so minimal because Oda wouldn't explain it if it was Kizaru. He'd explain it in hindsight. So like it wouldn't break up the flow. It would just be like if it's Kizaru, there's no need to explain it now. If it's someone other than Kizaru, I think you'd need the explanation earlier.
You could even explain it with just like a dialogue box, not even a dialogue box, like an inner monologue saying, "Go Luffy." That's all he needs. Just that one line, and then that's it. It's done.
Yeah. Anybody else, you need way more.
Like Smoker, unless you need like a whole chapter too.
No, like
Boa,
with
whole
Smoker,
chapter. Like
with Smoker, you could explain it away really quick. He just materialized, and he's like, "Time for your comeuppance, Saturn," and some bullshit like that.
Something random, yeah. Like Smoker just appears here. He left Tashigi behind. He wasn't supposed to come here, but he did.
Not smart in all regards either. Like I think every Virgo said that, like Doflamingo said that, like every character's been like, you're not that bright.
Come on, Smoker, you're a loser. All right,
Saturn would have looked at him and Smoker would have like it would have just been gone.
We got 2 parts left in this chapter to talk about. Well, 2.5.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the next one?
Is it the mistranslation or is it something else?
The mistranslation. Whoa, what is it?
8 wives.
Oh. No, that's the second part. We'll get to that here in a little bit. First part is Bonnie.
Okay.
Distorted future, Nika-ish future.
Right. Uh-huh.
She hits Saturn. It doesn't do any damage, right? It's whatever. Come on. And then Saturn says, "Wow, like your powers are getting weak or whatever." Bonnie's acknowledging it. And then Saturn pretty much explains why Bonnie is getting weak. And Saturn also says it seems like she hasn't drawn the connection between Nika and Straw Hat.
Yes.
So the way Saturn words it. So I've seen a lot of people very mixed on this one. And I stand on one side and, a lot of people stand on the other side with this one. It's pretty 50-50. But people are saying the more Bonnie realizes that Nika is Luffy, the more she can't tap into that future.
Ooh,
which is not where I'm at.
Yeah, that's not where I'm at either.
I am reading what Saturn is saying verbatim. Like Nika is impossible. He doesn't exist. And because she's starting to not believe in Nika, she can't
Yes.
envision a future where she can become Nika anymore.
And as she gets older, it also becomes harder as well because she's her own pirate now. When she did it the first time, the freedom of the seas, it was the first time she sang sail. And so like there's that nuance. And I just want to point out like this dialogue that he said too about her power is literally word for word what I said that her power would be like 4 chapters ago, when it was like we didn't know if like the moment that we didn't know that it was like a devil fruit power or not a devil fruit. This is exactly what I said it would be. That like, oh, like I feel like she'd be able to turn into alpha if she chose to. But the nuance being that the older you get, the harder it would be. And I'm taking that into consideration too, because he also says that in line with what you're saying too. It's like it's hard to believe because at this point she just witnessed her dad's memory bubble and all the
Yeah.
trauma where
Nika
this dude
never
is.
once saved her dad.
Exactly. So it's like, how can you possibly believe in this fictional thing when the most devout person was put through all this trauma? That's one. Two, I think that the whole point of it is like she set sail to find Nika. That is what she set sail for
Never found
2
him.
years. Never found him, but also this is like the entire like in my Godfather Shanks video, I talked about like one of the main points about why Luffy awakened the fruit is probably because he had the childish like naive brain that allowed him, and he maintained that regardless against Kaido, Big Mom, it doesn't matter, never broke against Katakuri, Doflamingo, doesn't matter how heinous, the same mentality, my friends are eating, whatever, same thing, right? But like most people don't have that. And I think Bonnie has seen the seas for 2 years and has been broken by it. The amount of stuff that she's seen, especially after Kuma's bubble, it's like you stop being a believer.
And she's
and
only
it's like
12.
exactly. And it's like you mix those things between her having less potential to be Nika, right? Because I think that's the whole nuance of what we're understanding the power, which is what like the devil seed user theory that I have is essentially saying. It's like everybody has the potential to get this Nika power. Like that's something I've been saying. It's like I think that's right there. But as you age, as you get more like jaded by the world, you get less access. And then the second part, it's like you also need to have the broken brain that Luffy has. That's like no matter what you see in front of you, as long as you have meat and you have a full stomach, you can fight for it, right?
Yeah.
And
Imagination and possibilities.
right. So that's where I'm at. I like the thinking that people have that like the more she realizes Luffy, but I don't see any evidence in the story for that, right? Because
And
then
it
there would be
would kind of go
dialogue.
against what Saturn, it seems like Saturn is lying to Bonnie, right? He wants Bonnie to believe that Nika is not real, despite Nika being in the room with them
Yeah,
and
because
Saturn knowing that that's Nika.
right, because exactly, like because if that were the case, that the more she realizes that's Nika, then she doesn't. So then it's his prerogative to be like, Nika's
Oh,
right there.
Nika's right there. Yeah, like stop using that power. He's over here. Like
Right.
no, Saturn's
Whereas,
like going out of his way to make it seem like he called it a worthless legend, which
which
I think
is
is hilarious because obviously Saint Saturn is kind of scared of Nika. He's like,
yeah.
like oh god, Luffy. Oh jeez.
Scared is an interesting thing. I want to wait for the officials, but like,
Yeah.
but just backing up, it's like it would also go against what Vegapunk explained of devil fruits, which is the whole point of like the devil seed theory is like the as long as people believe in it, Nika's real, right? And then like the anime did a really good job on Wano where we saw it in the chapter, I forget what chapter it was, like 1047, 1048, where like the people's dreams and their desires, that like is essentially how Luffy got unscorched by Kaido, and that's how the anime depicted it, and it's really well done because the manga kind of alludes to it, and then when we get Vegapunk's dialogue, it makes way more sense. And the thing is, it's like, yo, the belief in Nika is the important part. People believed in these futures for humanity, and they exist within devil fruits and people's ability to bring out those futures. And so now we see Saturn literally trying to use
Snuff out those futures.
based off of the same logic that Vegapunk put out. So in order
Yep.
to counter that, then you would have to be breaking Vegapunk's logic, the story's logic, so much more than that.
Dude. Have you ever heard of the story of the man in the cave?
Yes.
Dude,
Which
if you
one?
give one of them like a devil fruit, man, they wouldn't be able to do anything.
Oh, I was like, which? There's a
Yeah,
few cave people.
like the men in the cave, like they live in the cave their entire lives. Like they know
Mhm.
nothing about the outside world, bro. They would suck.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
give them
exactly.
the Nika fruit, man. They would do nothing with that one. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
I mean
Yeah,
that's
no
why
imagination.
like people don't know this or like some people
Yeah.
but like in the Nolan flashback we find out that sailing the seas is illegal. You need permission for the
Ooh.
Gorosei. So that's why they lock people up on islands so they don't have the imagination of the world, right? Like
I
Yamato at this point is like a good candidate for Nika. Like
Yeah, this is a child. But here's the thing, man. Like, if I was part of the Gorse, I would just lobotomize everybody in the world.
why don't they?
Exactly. Get rid of
Yeah.
that imagination.
Makes you wonder why they play this balancing act, which is the interesting part. Sizeway is too clean. They got to get their hands dirty apparently. So it's like,
Yeah, yeah, like Thanos.
yeah,
And
they gotta,
instead of Thanos snapping, you need to lobotomize snap people.
yeah. When but that's still the cleaner because some maybe Thanos is right, but like I forget
Hey,
what did
whoa.
like I
What's
feel
up?
like I forgot that meme resurfaced with the last chapter, right?
I think
Like
so. I feel like whenever we talk, we always somehow come back to the notion that Thanos was right.
yeah,
This
yeah,
isn't the first time we've said this.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess Thanos is right, man.
Yeah. Because
Hmm.
at the end of the day, Nico will always exist, but like if half the people were gone, less problems would be there. Population is a
Yeah.
big problem always. Look at Alabasta. Whew, crazy.
Alabama. Weren't there like a million people in Alabasta? Isn't that like the
300
ridiculous
million.
three? Wait,
The
really?
the population of the United States, I'm pretty sure that's like the thing.
Is the population of Alabasta, and then at most we only saw like 200 people?
No, we saw lots of people. It just didn't make sense size-wise. Like Pell's explosion was gonna wipe out half of America or something like that.
Alabasta population One Piece.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Did they
sure it's like
actually say 300 million?
yeah, I'm pretty sure Otis said like 300
60
million.
million.
60 million. Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like
60 million people in Alabama. Bro, dude.
maybe that was the population of the United States back in like 2002.
Oh my god. If Vivi was here, oh man, we would be able to we would stomp the Marines. Like there's only
Yeah.
30,000 of these losers here. You bring in
Solos.
Alabasta, it's over. Yeah,
And
even
they
if
were
they don't
heavily
fight.
militarized. They were heavily
Yeah, dude, it could be like World War Z for all I care. They could
And
be
then
running around naked,
they
and
had
they would
those
probably win.
the final fuel. What was it called again?
The
Yeah.
fatal fuel, where
Yeah.
people like drink it and die in 10 minutes.
Imagine
good.
that. Egghead would be Saturn would not be able to stop all of
Oh,
Alabasta.
sorry. 60 million's wrong. It's 10 million. 10 million.
10 million?
Even then,
Alright.
even then.
Yeah.
10 million versus 30,000 people, it's game. Like
Yeah,
you could just
it's over.
actually bum rush them. Like
Yeah.
naked people, you don't even have to fight. You could just run straight,
Just
and
run.
then they don't have enough bullets to put all of you guys down. You would just stampede them to death. It's
Yeah.
it's like a Travis Scott concert. It would be game.
It'd be very like even admirals would struggle a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would like run out of stamina near the end. Like Conquer's Hockey can only take you so. Like if Luffy was fighting them, what did Luffy do? Like 50k?
Yeah.
Yeah, Luffy did 50k. 10 million people. I don't know if Luffy could wipe out all of Alabasta. To be honest,
Yeah, like he would
that's a
need
lot.
there's that is quite the
That's a
factor.
number. That is
Yeah.
a number.
Imagine if like
Dude.
Vivi. That's why Vivi's so important to the story. It's just because she has so
How do you
many people
have
on her
10
island.
million people in like 5 rinky-dink towns?
Yeah, they're starving.
Alabasta's
Vivi's-
garbage. No wonder why they're
Vivi's gonna
starving
show
too.
up with like so many ships, and then that's enough. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it
Like,
makes you
10
wonder
million
though.
people would probably like that would destroy Marie's Raw. Like that's a lot of people. Like you could
To
just put
be
them all in
fair-
one room. It's done.
To be fair, Alabasta was a kingdom and an island, like all in one.
Yeah.
But there are many kingdoms, and those kingdoms probably have many people. So like who's to say that across like all the like kingdom of Vodka Kingdom, they have 10 million people. You know what I mean? Maybe on Kaido's island there wasn't 10 million, but maybe all of Vodka Kingdom had 10 million. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
maybe it balances out and it's
I
not
want the
that
number
crazy.
for Sorbet Kingdom. Like I think there's a reason why Oda stopped giving us numbers after Alabasta for populations, because he probably thinks it's too ridiculous. Like, imagine we go to Sorbet Kingdom and like, yeah, by the way, 5 million people live here. Like, sure.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
King
5
Bakori.
million people.
King Bakori would have been one of the greatest.
Yeah. What a great king. What a great king.
Yeah. That's hard.
Oh, man. All right. So we're in agreement with Bonnie's power. That's cool. So the next thing to talk about is... So you said there's a mistranslation with wife number 8. What are you talking about there? What happened?
Off of the reaction, it seemed like a lot of people were leaning towards this being confirmation that Saturn is a biological father to Bonnie. But then right in my comment section and on Twitter, it seems like that was OP Scans and TCB mistranslated it, and it just says 8th wife of someone of the Holy Land. And so I'm waiting for the Viz. I don't know if it'll counter it, but they're kind of saying like someone important at the Holy Land. There was this an 8th wife there, not Saturn's, and they just partook in the thing. And even a lot of people in like some people who I've never seen say that they're Japanese speakers say that, like, I am a Japanese fluent speaker and this is such an easy translation. They don't know why the translation teams messed it up. And there's multiple people saying that off of my reaction.
So what do the Japanese have to say about this?
They're saying that here. Let me pull up the line. Where he says like it says your mother being brought to the Holy Land to be the 8th wife of someone of the Holy Land instead of the Holy Land to be wife number 8. It's flipped and saying the number 8th wife of someone of the Holy Land is ironic. Really, she ended up being a part of my drug. So mainly the shift of whose wife it is. And I don't know where I'm at with it. I just saw people saying it on Twitter. I saw people in the comment section. I'm gonna wait for Viz, and then I'll see, because that usually. After the Viz is where like all like the main people slam down, like Pew and Sandman and Artur. They usually
and they're all like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah. So after Viz is when we'll get full clarifications.
That's funny. I read both translations, OP and TCB.
Yeah,
and
no, they're both the same.
Oh yeah, they're both the same pretty much.
Yeah, they both, and so that's what people are saying. They're saying like, I don't know why OP Scans and TCB both translated like that. That's why.
No. What I'm saying is I've read both of them. Yeah, and I did not get the impression that Saturn is like the husband. I don't know. Like that's why when people said this, I've heard people say this too, that this is confirmation, and I was like, how? I've read the same translation. I didn't hear the Japanese translation at all, and it's like, no, this is just wife number 8 of somebody in the Holy Land. Like, it doesn't have to be Saturn.
I think a lot of people are going for it because it's like the procession of the way he says it to be wife number 8 is ironic, really, because she ended up being part of my drug experience. So it's like, why would it be ironic if it's someone else? And it's like the only way this would be, like, the Viz is aside, but like, I was just kind of like, in my mind, I was like, the only way this would be translated differently is if they flipped it. And that's apparently exactly what the raws are compared to the translations, is for some reason OP Scans and TCB flipped it where like the way it goes, most English readers would be like, oh, it's the wife. And that's what I got after the reaction. I hopped on other streams too, seemed that the case. But every single time I said it, I was like, there is a world where in the Japanese, it's a weird one. And then right afterwards, I was like driving and I saw people comment.
Texting and driving,
Reading and driving.
A killer, an actual killer. What are you gonna say next? You were driving your bottle of whiskey home? What's up?
I told my stream that I was writing a script while driving, but I couldn't that day because it was raining so hard, so I had to leave it.
You sound like my mom.
Audio hearing the thing, so yeah, I didn't have a lot of time. I told you my schedule, so I had to write scripts.
Sometimes you just don't be a par.
Yeah, you can't multitask as much.
I would never do that.
Yeah, impossible. Well, Sai, you also don't go out much, so.
Well, yeah, but I try not to text and drive, you know.
I mean, I don't text and drive. I didn't say I text and drive.
You write fully thought out scripts for YouTube videos and drive.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's like the Tony Stark. I have the thing.
Oh yeah, that's what my mom does, dude. She like puts like my mom doesn't like text and drive because she's bad with like technology. So instead, she just like put, like I've never seen somebody so reliant on like text to speech before, or like, you know, speech to text. So
Yeah.
my mom would like just hit that record button, and she's like,
I never use it
"Hello, son."
until I never use it because usually
It's like,
if it's
damn.
a long drive, my wife is there, so then I'll just have her
Yeah,
write for me.
yeah. Just throw the phone over there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
same.
But like the holiday seasons, man, it's been brutal. You got the 5 hour drive.
Yeah,
You just
I need
got
a. Mm.
that's a speech writing
Do you
moment,
play
you
any
know?
phone games? You
No,
don't. You
I'm
don't
not
seem
a
like a
big
big
phone
phone
person.
gamer. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I play Dokkan Battle, and it's like, dude, if I go on a ride, I got like say, hey, I need you to grind this stage for me real quick.
I usually just
Yeah.
go into I just go into stasis field, you know? Just hyperbolic
Yeah.
time chamber in the brain, the mind palace.
What do you throw on whenever you're like riding in the car? Do you like listen to a podcast, radio, ambient noises? Like, do you
I don't
just
listen to anything.
silence? Nothing?
I listen to
Damn.
medieval Eminem.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
AI
pretty
covers.
good one.
I've started listening to nothing but AI
It's not
artists
AI
now.
actually. It's
Oh,
not
damn.
AI. Yeah. It's a guy named
Yeah.
Beetlecore or something
I
like
gotta
that.
support the robots nowadays, like,
Yeah.
yeah. Anything that's
Me
made by
too.
flesh and bones, nah, dude. Hell out of
I'm with
here.
you. I'm a
It's like made
hybrid
in
guy.
China, made in America thing, but instead it's
Hybrid
like
kind
made
of.
by humans, made by
Yeah.
AI. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Gotta support.
I'm more in between, you know? And just like these translations, it's like I'm in between. All I know is that all the Japanese people have come out and been like, yeah, it doesn't
It's
mean
not
it's
Saturn's
guaranteed.
wife.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so if that's the case, I'm fine with it. But it would also be weirder now going forward if it were Saturn, because now I'm like, if it's not Saturn, then this is confirmation that it's not Saturn.
Yeah,
Like that's how far
I feel
gone.
like if it was Saturn, it could be more direct. Like I can see how people think this would be Saturn, but that's not
Yeah,
how I
you read it.
interpreted this when I
Yeah,
read
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like I
Yeah,
kind of just saw like, oh yeah, like this could be a Holy Knight's wife. Wife number 8 to the 8th Holy Knight. This could be
yeah,
Emu's wife. This could be his wife. This could be all of the
right.
Gorosei's wives. This could be just a random wife. Like there's a lot of ways you could spin this.
Yeah,
So I feel like if it was Saturn, it would be more direct. Like, yeah, it was my wife.
yeah, yeah,
Which is why I didn't read it that way. But like
yeah,
I feel like anybody in the Holy Land just becomes a part of Saturn's drug experiments, right? This guy's like a classic Caesar clown, which is
yeah.
why, man, I want this guy to run the gauntlet with the Mads team, dude. I want to see him and the Mads team cook. Like if there was a dream matchup, oh god, man, put Caesar, Vegapunk, Judge, Koi, put Chopper in there, put those boys in the ring, and have them fight Saturn, man. Have a cook
Like,
off with devil fruits.
yeah, but
That's
Saturn's
so
like
cool.
Saturn disappointed me here, but like to your notion of like the reading thing, I agree with you because when I first read it, I kind of was just like I didn't think anything of it, and then I on like reread and then people bring it up, I was like I could see it. There's a possibility, but like let's see the translations, right?
Ah,
But then
ah.
the as far as the science thing goes, like my thing was the rest of the stuff. It was very eye-opening. It's probably the most important dialogue. I'm so glad I actually didn't put out the Bonnie video because now I can use these like
Yeah,
this
it gets juicier.
yeah, it's because otherwise I would have to make another video to update it. And I hate my ADHD hates recovering the same topic so soon. It's like the only time I do that is in live reactions. But like my videos are so random. Like last video is Nami, next video is gonna be a Kainu. The video after that was gonna be oh, I forgot. It was gonna be the Man Marked by Flames response
Yeah.
video. So it's like super random, right? But then this stuff is like so dope. And like one thing about Saturn is like he's this godhead of science, right? And I walked through all the logics of it, right? He goes like the other failures, she developed sapphire scales, right?
So he's a loser.
Like so failures not godly. Second, this is the same thing that Judge was doing, except Judge's wife would have been fine had she not drugged herself, from what we know. But also if Sanji didn't poison her, and like she wasn't developing sapphire scales from what we know, she was like bedridden. So like even Judge's like ramifications, like I think
But
Sanji's
Saturn's trying to
way
accomplish something. He's trying to accomplish something different, though.
fair, but like Sanji's kind of cracked. Like he can reform all of his bones from being broken. It's like who knows what the upper limit of
Hey,
that
we don't
is,
know what
right?
else Saturn was doing, right? Maybe
And
he has some cybernetic humans up there.
and here's the issue. Here's the problem, right? This failure right? It seems like so he's like, but to think the condition passed on to her child as well. You haven't been testing the child. He tossed out Ginny before testing out the child,
Yeah,
but the
what? That
whole
doesn't make
point of
any
it,
sense, does it?
it doesn't, because his whole the results of his problem or his experiment is to find out if the kid has the power. But he tossed Ginny out the moment he saw Sapphire, but he didn't test Bonnie. And he's like, he tossed her out as a toddler. It's like, what, did you think that Nika was gonna come out of this toddler? And that's the part that was the interesting thing, because he
Yeah.
said the thing that I caught on earlier on in the chapter was that when he said you don't fully understand the meaning, if you cut out the inner monologue, it goes, you don't fully understand its meaning, how pathetic, which kind of implies that he wants the Nika connection so that it comes out, because he knows what she's capable of. He thinks it's pathetic that she can't figure out two and two and that Nika's right in front of her. So he's gaslighting her about how it's impossible. So like that's a really weird thing, because again, you connect the dots. He's going like, okay, she doesn't know it's Nika. How pathetic. Oh, Nika's impossible, you loser. Also, you have the ability to make you like whatever you think come to reality. But then also, this is what I wanted you to have, but I tossed your ass out the moment you came out of the womb and your mom had sapphire scales.
Yeah.
Sapphire scales a failure. Here's the other part. Vegapunk saw it and instantly solved it.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing with Vegapunk though, so Vegapunk created the green blood, and that's pretty much what Saturn wanted.
So we
But
say. We don't know yet.
yeah, we
right?
don't know for sure. We don't know for sure. There could be many layers
It's
to
like,
how Saturn's doing this, like different ways
yeah.
he's going about it. But regardless, though, him tossing Bonnie out before he knew the results is
Weird.
poor,
Incompetent.
incompetent.
I was.
He
heated
doesn't
about
see the bigger picture, and
There is no
Sapphire
picture.
scales, from what we know, they aren't contagious. So
Right.
so why kick Ginny and Bonnie out? And
Yeah.
it's not like they're starved for food, right? It's not like, oh no, we're gonna run out of money. It's like, no, these are like the wealthiest people on the planet.
Hey,
Like just keep
Sapphire's
them
is
locked
money.
up.
Sapphire is easy money.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, just peel off their skin and sell
it's
it.
not like he's throwing out toxic waste. No, like imagine you hire a scientist, your end result is gold. And they're like, no, we can't do this shit. This is wrong. They toss out the gold. And as an investor, you're like, what do you mean you're tossing out gold? What do you mean? Like we can reinvest the gold. Like even from that standpoint, it's wild. But then the other part is like, here's the other brain broken part. His logic was any he told us the end result. He wanted a child that has the power to transform ability, whatever, to what they believe in, and transfer that power through a fruitless means. That's what he wanted as end goal. Bonnie is proof of that. He knows Bonnie can do that because the Nika-ish power, and he explained it because she demonstrated it. So Bonnie is a success. And his determination was no, as soon as the mom gets sapphire scales, it's a like we gotta toss it out, which means that he's never gotten past that, and his reasoning for a failure is completely wrong. He doesn't understand
And
even the
dude,
basis
not
of
to
his
mention,
experiment.
Vegapunk is able to cure Sapphire scales.
Exactly. It's like there's this broke my brain once I took a step back from the memes about fast food and Uber Eats. I was like, yo, Saturn is a goon. Like this dude is the dumbest scientist. He's worse than the mad scientist.
No. Yeah, I still have hope for Saturn. But here's the thing. The way I see
Want to
it,
hear the two copes
go for it. Go for it.
that I've
Hit me
heard?
with the copes.
First one, and I responded to this very quickly. So on Volume One podcast, someone said like, oh, they think Saturn is celestial dragons. He doesn't care about the science. He's just having fun. When does celestial, they treat everyone as insects? So it's like, as scientists, do we care about what we do in the insects? But I was like, so then he wouldn't say that it was a failure. Like imagine playing around with ants and insects and be like, oh, this is a failure, and only having 8 wives or 8 experiments is like number 8th, right? Or whatever he said. It's like at that point I would have solved it. Like failures, I wouldn't even be thinking about the failures, right? He seems stifled about the failures. And it's like also, if he's a Gorosei member, this is a failure from like 2 years ago. Like, I don't get it. Like, are we saying he has so many successes now? Where's the successes? I don't know. And then
Yeah.
the other cope was the whole alchemy thing. Like he's a
He's
wizard.
working with potions.
Yeah, like he's a wizard of some sort. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah, he's
like
using a sundial to tell time. He's over here mixing in bleach and water.
but then here's the problem, right? Let's say there was that separation, right? Vegapunk is science, so he's missing the magic part. So like the legendary Iron Giant, maybe it needs circles. It needs summoning circles for it to work, right? It needs the Nika stuff, the music, not scientific stuff, right? And Saturn's on the not science, the magic stuff, and so they're the perfect match. Here's the problem with that: unless Vegapunk is the greatest actor of all time right now, like it doesn't seem like Vegapunk has been helping Saturn, but Saturn knows from 2 years ago Vegapunk can solve his issue instantly. He knows that because he knows that Vegapunk was curing Bonnie of the sapphire scales, and he seems to be the person who's making people with sapphire scales. So it's like 2 years ago when Bonnie landed on Vegapunk's doorstep, and Vegapunk goes, "Yep, I could solve that easily." Saturn should have been like, "Yo, we don't need anything else. I need you to solve my problem right now. Stem cells, do it right here, right now on all of my things. I don't have failures anymore. I have W's." He didn't do that either. Right under his nose.
But here's the thing. So my cope is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Mine is that it's been so long that Saturn, by this point, would already know how to cure sapphire scales too, and maybe he even circumvented the sapphire scale condition in like at all, like in the like after the 12 years like span.
Yeah.
So that's my cope.
And hold on, didn't he say something about the hold on, let me see what he says about the sapphire thing, because he said something interesting. Like the other failures, she developed sapphire scales. Okay, I knew the results were poor, but to think the condition passed on to her child as well, like I don't know why. It just feels like he knows nothing about the sapphire scale stuff, because like you said, the contagious stuff tossed her out. Like it just feels like he's so, like, in order to solve it, you think that, I don't know. It just feels like he's not smart.
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you.
So like in order for him to solve it, we have to give him the smart W, and I don't think he's demonstrated that yet.
I'll
even
give him the
Kizaru
smart
was
W
flexing
for now.
Even Kizaru was flexing on his tactics. Like Kizaru was just like, that's not really efficient, mister. You know? And like Saturn was like, "Oh, you're right, Kizaru. I'm so dumb." You know, like it wasn't it him who also was like, "Is that Nico Robin?" Like, I don't know. That Gorosei call where they're like, "Oh my god, is that Nico Robin? I'm a big fan." Like it was, I don't know, that was Jupiter, I think. But anyways.
Yeah, Jupiter.
Yeah. So like I don't know. Sure, he could have solved it in the years after, and the Holy Knights are the people who solved it. Sure, I've seen a lot of, not seen in those streams, a lot of people have brought up some interesting things, but I don't know. I do think that the sapphire scales are probably the most important part that I'm going to analyze from this, because I think that's the most important thing. Whether or not he solved it, your cope was that he did solve it, and my thing is that I don't think he did solve it. So regardless, it circles around the sapphire scales being solved, and I think that's huge for the story. And hey, maybe it relates to why the amulet is a protective, the talisman is a protective charm, other than like a oh, it's the authority chip. So who knows what's there.
So, with that being said, now that we've made it to the end of the chapter, Par.
Yes.
Kuma's here.
Yes.
Kuma's here. He has hockey. He's got some willpower in him. What do you think is going to happen next?
Ooh.
We're prediction time, you know?
I think so here's like the portrayal, right? Like he runs through 20,000 soldiers. They couldn't stop him with the bazookas, but they knock him over. But what couldn't knock him over, really, like he lost his balance a little bit with the thing, and then he does this whole Michael Bay smoke thing, and then the Terminator on top of that, where he peers out, and it's this like insane thing, right? Bazookas, 20,000 soldiers couldn't stop him. We'll throw the island's best there. Vice admirals couldn't stop him. Mark threes couldn't stop him. They try to run at him. They fail. They stop, right? And then boom, the people who are in the inner circle around Saturn are the ones who can survive Saturn. So high-ranking people aiming at Bonnie, they get blown to smithereens instantly. Kuma's looking great, looking good. You know, how much better can this get? Saturn looking like fodder, right? And I'm gonna say this 2 times. It's like my guy needed vice admirals and or commodore and above to kill Bonnie. He couldn't do it himself. He could squeeze her to death at any point. Doesn't do it. This is One Piece.
Just gotta
Whatever.
get that villain monologue in, dude.
He throws her to the ground, doesn't even crack the ground. Are we even in shonen anymore? Like, at least break the foundation. He looked like he tossed her
Yeah.
like she's a stuffed animal, and he's so weak. And then he has to pincer her, so we know that he has the intentions to kill her. But some reason throwing her doesn't work, squeezing her doesn't work. He needs to use the pincer, right? So Saturn's not looking great. Then Kuma's paw comes through. We
But why
look
if
at this.
scientifically, what if scientifically he's piercing her at such an angle that would kill her instantly once it touches her? Like, this is the optimal route. We're not the
He had-
scientist, Par. Are
he
we
had-
the god warrior scientists?
He had
I don't
8
know.
legs. You're telling me he couldn't do that while holding her? He needed the bazookas aimed at her. And then here's the thing, Sai, aimed specifically at Julie Body. I know why you said that, because it didn't pierce even Kuma. And you're like, oh, maybe it was meant for Bonnie. And it's like the
Yeah.
Mihawk Dozu.
We have to remember that he was aiming for Whitebeard, not Jozu. Come on,
And so
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You already know my script.
Yeah, and so then on top of that, Kuma turns around. We see his back. His back is not really that pierced. Saturn did not go that deep. First of all, second of all, Kuma goes back, picks up his hand.
Oh, you're right. We
his
do see his
pincer.
back. We do see his back. Nothing happened to it.
Yeah, it barely. We see the blood coming out, so it looks like it went through. But like Kuma's a thick dude, right? Like Kuma, like that did nothing. That was like maybe like 1% of his body, and so he turns around. He's a cyborg. Now get this, Kuma, the man who has no will, erased will, somehow has the willpower to coat his entire fist in hockey. Something that just the week before I saw Brago's stream, they were putting Kuma super far down. They didn't know if he was top 50 because they were like, Kuma doesn't have hockey. Next chapter, I was like, what did you say about my man? What did you say about Kuma? Shows up with hockey, but looks like a little bit of Rio too. And then we get the meme ending face, like this guy, One Punch Man, like I forget all the memes, but all the memes come out. Kuma gritting his teeth. First time this man has ever clenched his fist. I don't think he's ever done this to King Bakori. All he did was throw air bubbles. This is the first time Mr. Pacifist clenched his fist and is going at the Gorosei. And the Gorosei guy looks terrified. See, this is the same face I think like Doflamingo had when Kuzan showed up behind him, right? Like low key, if you know, like this is the fear of God put into Saturn. Now, as far as what comes next, I want to say all that because I feel like it's crazy to think that Saturn dies. Like some people said Saturn dies next. Some people say he's like crippled. I feel like Saturn's hasn't been hit in 800 years, and maybe he's scared. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's what I said too.
I think because he hasn't made landfall in 800 years, he's rusty. I think it's fair that he forgot how durable he is, and maybe he gets pushed back a little bit. But it's something like, yo, that was kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie. And maybe there's blood. But like he got stabbed by Bonnie through and through, right? Like
about like a toothpick.
But no, but like my point is, it's like pain clearly, like he's fine with it. I think it's literally just like, yo, this huge ass dude is running me down. I hadn't had this happen to me in 800 years. He came in with hockey blazing on Egghead, like yo. if we're coming back from 800 years, we're gonna do it big time, right? That also implies that he hasn't fought somebody in 800 years. I think that most people who fight professionally, if they haven't fought in 800 years, they'd be like, "Yo, I'm a little rusty." I feel like even Mike Tyson, after 800 years, might let a hit come in and be like, "Yo, I feel it now," you know. And maybe Saturn comes out with a dog in him, you know, like he comes out like, "Yo, this reminded me of when I fought Nika," like he might come out like Jack, like all the like Jack, not like Jack the Drought, like jacked as in like ripped. I
Yeah,
can see that. I can
I
see
love the
that.
distinction.
I think that's what's gonna happen. I don't think this is gonna do anything to Saturn, if I'm being honest.
And I am the same way.
Yeah.
I think I think the hit's gonna land, and then maybe the next chapter Kuma might not be able to move.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like this is just very shocking. Like Saturn himself did not believe that Kuma was here, right? He said
Mhm.
hodgepodge. Kuma, no way. No way he's here.
And the thing is, if the situation's what we think it is, and we talked about this before, free Bonnie. Bonnie's in danger. Free Bonnie. He did it. This panel, it's accomplished. She's out of harm's way. If he gets decommissioned out of this, right? That's fair. I think that he'll like die doing it. Like he'll literally break himself on Saturn to protect Bonnie. And that's where we're gonna get. Like next chapter is gonna be like I don't know what Oda thinks people do for like New Year's or end of years. Like I think most people like to have happy thoughts going into the new year and coming into the new year. Like both ends. Oda was like, no, I'm gonna break your soul at the end of the year and at the beginning of the year because we're gonna end the year with Kuma dying, and we're gonna start the next year with Kuma breaking himself after dying and dying again and continuously dying like in front of our eyes. I'm pretty sure that's what Oda is gonna do because the mission is done. I think that or we think Kizaru fed Luffy. Luffy survives and then he carries the mantle. Like it's gonna be something like this. Like this might even be the way Kuma connects with Nami, right? We get a moment where like Kuma's just like breaking himself and then Luffy puts the straw hat on Kuma and says, "I got you, my boy. You prayed after all these years. I'm here." And Kuma's like, "Ah," and he just breaks from the holiness, right? Like there's so many ways it can go down, but it's like the help me moment that Nami got. Luffy does that to Kuma, and Kuma's like ascends to heaven in that moment. He's like, my savior's here, right? Maybe he starts two-step. Maybe he does the Nika dance. So he starts doing it, right? Like I don't know. All I know is that like Saturn's gonna be fine. Kuma's gonna die. Luffy's gonna get up probably by the end of the next chapter. Like
Yeah.
the food is pretty instantaneous when it comes to Luffy.
Yeah, Luffy's a anime character through and through.
Yeah. The only
But you know who's
way...
not gonna be here next chapter?
Who?
Zoro.
Dragon? Oh.
I
What
thought that
about
was
Dragon?
funny.
Do you think Dragon's gonna show up?
Next chapter, no. I feel like if Dragon shows up, it'll have to be like a lot of chapters later.
Yeah.
I just
Remember
think the Zoro one's
1100?
funny.
Wait, what's the Zoro
Maybe
one?
11. Zoro's 1111.
Oh.
But the reason why I said Zoro is because some people were asking like, "Where's Zoro at? Why is he still fighting Lucci? That doesn't make sense." And I was like, "I don't know."
I've only seen the
I just thought that was so funny.
the Enma. Give me your, or Odin, give me your hockey. I'm fighting base Lucci. I've seen that meme and that's kind of funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Zoro's gonna be fighting Lucci for a good minute.
Yeah.
Like I think that's gonna be a stalled out fight.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I can't think of many ways to stall out next chapter, but there's two ways. And so like if Luffy's not up at the end of the chapter, then it's like we get Bonnie Kuma moments where it's like sporadic like Kuma memories slash like sputters of humanity coming through and we get a sentimental thing. Or Oda can space that out even more. So that's first tier spacing out. Second tier spacing out is Oda does a settings situation where like Luffy's getting fed and like we get an explanation of like Kizaru did it, but this is where all the straw hats are because like people have said, we don't know where Robin is, we don't know where the straw hats are, so he could really milk the idea of like who's feeding Luffy, and he can run through the candidates that he thinks that people thought. So Caribou, and he could denounce every single one of them. Like it's not Caribou, it's not these people, blah blah blah, and he can space out that way, which is low key something that he sort of has done in the past with like reveals like this. Where it's like York kind of, it's like who did it, and then we slowly got revealed where the satellites were, and then like Shaka got shot, and then boom, it was York, right? So like Oda did do it low key there, but like this is another moment he could space out that would be second tier, and then third tier would be doing both probably.
Yeah.
So more the merrier, Oda. Start the year off however you want. The craziest thing would be we jump off of Egghead and we go to like Blackbeard or something. That'd be
Oh yeah,
wild.
just see what he's doing. That would be hilarious.
Yeah,
I
that
would
could be
not
an Oda.
mind if we left Egghead Island.
Because last year I think we did do that. We started the year Egghead, and then we jumped to the chapter where Kid said he was going to Elbaf and Garb said that he was going to Hachinosu. That was the first chapter of the year, I think. So that was like 10-8. No, yeah, 1071. That was the first
Yeah,
chapter of the year, I think. So damn,
wouldn't mind it.
1071. So how many chapters are we in? What, 30, 33 chapters this year? Is that the number?
I think so.
Wow. Crazy
Yeah,
year.
yeah, 33. Yeah, I think yeah. Sounds about right. Like 32,
Yeah. Wild.
32-ish if you don't count this one too. 32,
Yeah.
31.
Yeah. So I think Oda there's like, yeah, and that would be fourth tier. Like if Oda did that, I get it, it's a pattern, but yeah. But as far as your question, Saturn, man, seeing people say Saturn dies off this is wild. I was like, no,
I can't
stop
believe
that.
that. Like
Yeah.
I could see Saturn. Like we said that he's not too hurt after this, but I'm fine with Saturn being hurt. But I don't think Saturn's done. I don't think Kuma has the capacity to beat Saturn.
Yeah, beating Saturn, stalling Saturn. I think like Kuma's gonna do a number on Saturn, but that number would be a number to like most people we've seen, and I feel like my headcanon of the Gorosei, and I know people want to hate on like the Gorosei and say that they're weak. I feel like they're gonna show out to be really strong. Like it's gonna be like Kizaru and Kuma's feel toward the Straw Hats at Sabaody. Like I'm so set on that. It's gonna be the power cliff of the Gorosei. That like this is almost like, remember when Kizaru showed up to Sabaody? Uh,
Yeah,
I think Apu cut Kizaru in half, and Kizaru was kind of like, "Huh, that's fun." And then he just like reformed, and they're like, "Oh damn, we're dead." And it's like that's kind of like Kizaru, like that's the difference, right? They don't know hockey, they don't know anything. Apu did the most. He sliced him in half, and it looks crazy. Oh my god, an admiral got sliced in half just like Kuzan. Kuzan, we shattered him, broke him, and he's like, that's funny, but like I'm kind of made of ice. And that time we didn't know like Logias, we didn't know those powers, and I feel like summoning circle, magic summoning circle, and yokai ushi oni is kind of the same realm of like, yo, we don't know what these dudes got. We barely know awakenings because Kaido wasn't awakened, right? We only know it from Rubber Man Luffy, which like that's not even fair. We barely know it from Lucci and Kaku, but like I think there's so many things that Saturn is showing where it's like Kizaru getting caught on Sabaody by Apu is kind of like, not saying that's what Kuma's gonna do to Saturn here, but like the nuance was Kizaru was facing 5-6 supernova all at the same time, and that's all they could do to him. So maybe one Kuma is like 6 supernova versus Saturn, and it'll be the equivalent, right? And Saturn would be like, ha, it's been 800 years.
it's been so long.
Yeah, since so long since I feared something. You've woken the beast in me. Like that's some
Yeah,
crazy line like that.
I feel like Yeah, I don't think we're beating. There's no way we're beating Saturn, in my opinion. But I could
People
see
think
us.
that.
Yeah, people think. I think that's a fair thought too. I get the idea of like it's too late in the game to like not beat an enemy, but
I
I I fall back to like traditional battle shonen and how like you
Yeah.
always fight the bad guys like all together.
Okay, but
Not
so
battle shonen, like old shonen,
here's a different
like all the
question.
Gorosei together.
We can, because I agree with you, we can see why people can see that, right? But with the context, it's like I don't see that. We
Yeah,
personally don't see that. But here's the thing. I also feel like I can see that, but I would ask those people, do you want that? Like, is the story like my thing is like, I don't get why people want the Gorosei to be so weak given what we have for One Piece. But also, I feel like the story wouldn't be, I feel like the story wouldn't be better if the Gorosei were weak. I feel like if the Gorosei is strong, that just makes the story a little bit more interesting. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
not awful if they're weak. I can see the story going that way. I think modern anime could do that, but I feel like One Piece, Shonen, OG stuff, but then also just the want. Like it's like I feel like the story is better off that the Gorosei are strong and like Luffy gets stronger, right? I feel like that just makes
yeah.
sense.
Luffy gets stronger. All the characters get stronger. I think that's totally fair. And I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything wrong with Saturn even being stronger than Kaido, because by the time we see Kaido again, he's gonna be stronger too.
Yes,
Like that's just how it
exactly.
is.
Yeah, he's gonna
Like
be
I don't know why
awakened.
people take it as a diss as if like Kaido's their dad or like Luffy's their dad, like they're the brother. It's like no, like if there's strong people in the verse, that means that our guys can get stronger too, right? Like
Yeah.
boom, next time we see them, you know, like, these guys are power clipping the next person, and then this guy got stronger, that guy got stronger, and then
Yeah.
that's typically how shonen
Yeah.
goes in general. It's like Katakuri, right? Like next time we see Katakuri, nobody's expecting him to be the same.
Yeah.
Like nobody's
To
expecting him to be like the same guy we fought at Whole Cake Island. No, he's probably gonna get
yeah.
stronger.
And
Same, all of
to
them.
to be fair, like Oda showed us how Shanks and Katakuri would measure up in film red, so to say, right? Like I would imagine, and the reason why I say showed us that is because I don't think that like whatever director had free reign over Shanks. Anything related to Shanks probably got extra scrutiny from Oda, and that was a depiction Oda had where it's like this is what an admiral in Shanks would be like, you know, like and
Yeah,
Kizaru's in my opinion the same. He's like, yo, like we don't maybe I don't need to fight you right now, right? Like maybe it gets solved the other way around, right? Like I feel like it's all the same depiction, but the point being in that movie, Katakuri got like little broed by Shanks, and it's like Katakuri comes back, but this is where Yonko is at, and this is where Katakuri's at, and I think that will stay the same. But like you're saying, I feel like all the characters are gonna get stronger. I feel like the story naturally is gonna go that way. I feel like that's the One Piece way. But then even more than that, like I think like a lot of people like, but Par, you were shitting on the Saturn and the Gorosei stuff, like off of this chapter. And I was like, I am, and I was, and I still will be. And I think the only cope that I think is the strongest cope is that the line where he goes like, ah, it's been 800 years. But if he doesn't have that line, or like he just kind of like gets hurt and it's significant, I do feel like a lot of the context we've gotten of Saturn has been weird. Mainly the way he's handled Bonnie, which is why I emphasize that. Like he held her, he's like, "Yo, you guys shoot her. I can't do it." He throws her on the ground and he wants to kill her, but he throws her softly and then goes for the pincer. And it's like the pincer doesn't do any. This is a pincer meant to kill somebody, and it doesn't do much to Kuma. And we can play the game of like, "Oh, my pincer was meant for a little girl." Like I don't know what you want to say about that, but like listen, I'm just like I feel like Saturn is just getting his feet wet. You know what I mean? Like the good old
yeah.
saying. And
How long
so
is like how often does Gorosei Saturn fight
yeah,
when
because
you really
even
think about it?
in the cleansing, the human cleansing, it's not like the Garland is Garling it was flexing there, right?
Yeah,
But
he's not exactly fighting like Mihawk or
yeah,
Rod. Like I guess he did fight Roger, but like if the rabbit thing went
normally.
normal, all he's fighting is my mom and dad. Like that's
And
it.
even in
Like
that, it's
yeah,
Saturn wasn't fighting. So
he
like
was
we don't know,
observing.
yeah, we don't know if they're fighting, and it's like so it's like who are these fighting, who are
You're
these people
fighting a
fighting?
farmer with like a pitchfork. That's it.
Yeah, and like he could be really strong, and I'm just on the boat that like I do like the trope of characters not remembering how strong they were. Like I remember like a few different manhwa or webtoons that did that with dragons, where dragons were just like immortal gods, whatever, and then they got like tickled by something current, like damn. I
This
remember
is
this
what it
from like
feels like, huh?
yeah, like 3 centuries ago when I was just a baby, and I was just like, all right, this is kind of sick.
It's like being celibate for like 20 years and then you finally go to like a whorehouse.
If Kuma's fist were the greatest pounding of all time, yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
yeah,
that.
yeah. Like, exactly. Alexander the Great.
Yo, what you mean Genghis Khan or like
I mean, both. They could combine fusion dance into Super Saiyan 4 Genghis Alexander. Genghis the
Alexander
Great.
Khan the Great?
Genghis the Great. GG. It's over.
Yeah, GG. Genghis the
And
Great
hey,
is crazy.
Genghis the Great's pretty cool. Hey,
Yeah.
thank you, Par, again, for joining me on this little adventure, the chapter breakdown, man. This is the last one of the year. Isn't it kind of sad?
Yeah, that's why I made sure to make it happen no matter what, and you did too. Is
Yeah.
squeezing. We squeeze this in literally.
Squeezed.
I literally haven't slept in like 2 days and drove here 5 hours. Sai got that ahead of him, so we have
I've already slept.
yeah. This is the irony of the situation. Usually Sai is not sleeping before this, and this time he's like, "Whoa, I woke up for this one."
Yeah, I just woke up. Oh, whoa, it's weird.
Yeah. So
Yeah, our schedules are weird.
happy
Too many
New
more
Year's.
podcasts to come, yeah?
Yeah, this is where we're now crossing. We have 2022, 2023, and it's about to be 2024 as far as when these existed. We started
Oh,
right after Wano,
let's
1057.
damn, dude, wait. Before we
We're-
go,
Yeah.
we should say one thing that we want to happen in 2024 for One Piece.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
something that's not super obvious. Like, obviously you have to like
Elbaf.
yeah, like if you say we're going to Elbaf, it's like okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need something like big. Like I originally I would say that Shanks is going to die to Blackbeard,
Oh, okay.
but I don't know if that's super controversial or not because it seems like a lot, like not a lot, but like
I
some
think
people are kind of on board with that.
I think he's gonna die, but I don't know if it's and to Blackbeard, but I don't know 2024.
Yeah, that's just based off of Oda's message at Jump Festa saying, "Oh, that these two people are gonna fight, and there's a surprising outcome." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I'm kind of going off that.
You went really deep, the surface level choice.
Yeah,
Shanks
surface level.
which is
Shanks, Blackbeard, they fight. Shanks
to be
dies.
fair, I think Oda was referring to Garp and Kuzan for last year, right? Or Lucci
So
Lucci and
last year, Oda said it's gonna be a battle royale. That guy's gonna fight that guy. That guy's gonna fight that guy. Which we kind of got. Like we got Luffy, Lucci, Garp, Kuzan. We got Kid, Law.
But who did you think? Where's the battle royale the most? Wasn't it be Hachinosu?
I didn't read it as like a full battle royale. I read it more like a lot of people are gonna fight. I didn't read it like a Fortnite. Like there's a circle that everybody's fighting in. I saw it as more of like a lot of people around the world are gonna be fighting.
Yeah, because if
Which
you
is
took it
what we
more
got, we
literal,
got.
then it'd be Garp and Hachinosu, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
But as far as delivering on that guy versus that guy, Oda delivered in all of them. So Shanks Blackbeard would be delivering, and
Ooh,
I'm scared.
Kuma Saturn.
Hey, yeah, Oda could knock it out of the park real quick. That's fair, right? But like, so are you saying your prediction is Shanks Blackbeard, or you got another one?
You go first, and then I'll get another one that isn't super normal.
I feel like this is an easy one. I don't know if a lot of people have said this, but like I feel like Man Marked by Flames is revealed like completely next year.
Completely.
Yeah.
Do you
like-
think it's somebody we've seen before or a new character? Let's go deeper.
Okay, if we're going deeper, then my okay, here's how I tie it in together. And this is you disagree with it. That's what I know.
Yeah.
If it's Man Marked by Flames, they were from Impel Down. They have a connection to Impel Down.
Okay.
That's my depth.
So yours is Man Marked by Flames, and then to go further, Impel Down.
Yeah, something like
two layered.
like because the Warlord, I was thinking like, hey, the Warlords that were denounced, they were put in prison. So, and
Yeah.
that's where my man marked by flames and the warlord idea both connect. Is that Impel Down is the source? They got released. Boom. They took the poneglyph during the mid time, and then boom, they got the reputation. And it would have been someone who had a prison reputation, which is how
And
Blackbeard
we
knows about it
talked
and stuff.
about this with the whole like this started from the Ace part, right? Because we heard that Ace beat a warlord, and I agree that I think that ex warlord is the man marked by flames. I think that has the
Yes.
highest probability.
Yeah.
I just don't level on the impelled down part, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we're on
Yeah.
the same wavelength when it comes to who it is, and I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of people are too. Like I feel like every next person we get that has some fire connection, everybody kind of jumps on board. At
Yeah.
first, it
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
like fire, this guy. Oh, it's him over there. Saul, it's him
Which
over
is
there.
which is
Cruzon, it's
why
him.
when you
Just
asked me to
everybody.
go deep, I decided to. I think Impel. I would put money on Impel Down.
Okay,
That's I'd
I
put
like
money.
that.
I'd actually put
Respectable.
money on that.
I don't agree, but I think that's very
Yeah.
respectable. Though I see where you're coming from.
Yep. Yep.
Shit. I don't have like a hot take,
I
or
feel
not
like
a hot take, but like something crazy.
I feel like last year or in the years prior has been so much harder because Egghead was such a like last year we
Hmm.
ended leaving Egghead to show us Elbaf and whatever. That was the
Yeah.
beginning of the next year. So had you made predictions before the year started, Elbaf was not on your radar. Garp was not on your radar. We started 2023 technically with the Kid Shanks Elbaf, Kid Shanks Garp stuff. And then
Yeah.
you would be able to predict the things, which is wild considering what Oda could do here.
So mine is going to be multi-layered.
Okay. Like a pyramid scheme.
A pyramid scheme. One's gonna
Okay.
bounce off another.
Uh-huh.
Mine is at base level, Elbaf, obvious one. Like, of course, there's the curveball that we don't go to Elbaf, sure. So mine stems on if we go to Elbaf. We're gonna learn that there were multiple Joy Boys throughout history,
Mm-hmm.
and the previous one before Luffy was a giant. I feel like that's
Okay.
200 years ago. It was a giant.
Damn.
We're gonna learn a connection between that giant and Shanks. We're gonna see the Blackbeard Shanks fight, and we're also gonna have a scene with Kaido and Yamato, and Kaido's gonna drop Shanks lore.
See, you said you didn't have one, and then you had one. But also, I'm like, is there a theory video for this? Like, are you gonna put this
Is
out?
there there's like a theory video for one thing.
It's like
Theory
that was
videos are rough. I don't like
Yeah.
scripting things out, so I
Yeah.
thought about just turning on the camera and sharing my thoughts. So I was like, I might just do that.
people eat that.
Yeah, maybe I might do that, but
You might become the greatest theorist of all time with this one.
no, no. I thought about the. I feel like that all connects
Yeah.
because Kaido would explain a little bit as to how he sees Shanks, maybe,
Mhm.
and he would also like talk about Shanks in the context of how he fought him before he went to Marineford and why Shanks stopped him. And that all ties back to Luffy being at Wano or being in Elbaf because we know Shanks is at Elbaf, so Giants would spill Elbaf lore. We
Yeah.
would learn the reason why Shanks wanted the Nika fruit, which is for the Giants because they had the Nika fruit beforehand 200 years ago, and Shanks was trying to return it home.
Gotcha.
And then this will all happen in tandem with the Shanks and Blackbeard fight. So we're getting Shanks lore from people outside of Shanks's crew while Shanks is fighting.
Interesting. I like your logic. I like it.
And
I
the
was gonna
reason for Kaido and Yamato, sorry, last thing with Kaido and Yamato, I know that's kind of like a curveball,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I know that in Oda's notes, I think it was the Road to Laugh Tale, he had a scene where Kaido and Yamato were talking about Yamato wanting to leave. So I think if Yamato does join the crew, right? Like I'm going off the walls with Yamato joining the crew. If Yamato leaves Wano, I feel like she's going to talk to her dad before she goes. And Kaido, I feel like he's still around nearby. So maybe they meet somewhere off the coast, like on the shore. And then Kaido's like, do whatever you want.
I agree. 2 things, 3 things, 4 things. Okay. So I'm going to start backwards with the Yamato thing. So, because this is a separate video. It has to do with Big Mom, and then it would end with a relation to Kaido with something you said. The reason why I think Kaido and Big Mom are alive is because Luffy technically liberated them. He liberated them of their responsibilities of the crew, of their empires. And so now without those things in their faces, they will go back to their pre-rocks days, like their childhood, what they really like believed in, and they'll like refresh. It's like the way I've been seeing it is that they progressively got burdened by this thing that they've been trying to do, and they forgot it because they were upholding these empires, where it's like Kaido and Big Mom both let go of those things and then reassess like their dreams, their real dreams. With specifically Big Mom we can have a tracking with, then it would make sense. And so with your idea with Kaido and Yamato, I wouldn't be able to conclude it in the video, but in Kaido and Yamato that would be essentially the case, because of like how what like Yamato and Kaido and Big Mom and her kids have like this history that would need to unfold for the liberation to like go in full force, and then it would start off with Yamato. So I like that idea. Now that one that connects to a Big Mom video. So in the other part that I wanted to mention as a connection point was, I agree with three separated parts. I like your full theory. My version of it, and I won't say the full thing, is that I know this theory's been floating out. Like Giant past was the past Joy Boy. There's been plenty iterations of that. But the reason why I like it is because I might have found an ancestor, not Shanks, that makes a lot of sense for who that connection point would be. And it relates to Nika, it relates to Elbaf, it relates to the Devil Fruit, it relates to all of it. So like, and you said one other thing that it would have connected to. So there's a lot of really great points. You should make a video on it, honestly. I think a lot of people would like it. You did a great job of explaining it right there.
Yeah, I thought about just getting really drunk and just turning on the camera though.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that's like the best way to do it? Right?
Yeah, I haven't drank in like 3 months.
That's good. I told you you've been looking healthier. That skin is glowing.
That's just because I've been hitting the gym, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both, right?
Yeah, a little bit of both. It's
Your
because
happier.
It all happened when I started reading JJK.
Yeah.
That inspired me to work out, get healthier.
Yeah, you saw what, Tojo, right? That's his name?
Toji. But I also saw Sukuna, bro. The guy's crazy.
And then how he, you want to have a happy fight, right? Like get some compliments here and there, right? I've heard some.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Maybe I'll start working out too. I've been bulking, so.
Oh, snaps.
Yeah,
but not gonna let the dad bod take over, huh?
Well, like I'm letting the dad bod take over. It's a dirty bulk. Dirty bulk.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, that's kind of where I'm at too. I'm not dedicated enough yet, so.
Yeah. I have like 2 reasons to do it, but it's gonna work out regardless.
I like it.
Yeah, the Jason Momoa body, right?
Yeah. Turn into Kuma next time I see it. You're gonna survive magma like Shaq.
Exactly.
Yeah, Shaq survived that magma, man.
Was that even in this recording?
That wasn't, dude. That was like an hour ago. Yeah.
That was like 2 hours ago. There was
2 hours ago. To be fair, 2 hours ago.
But
dang, that's gonna something happened in this call. That's good.
This is the best way we could have ended 2023. So everyone listening, thank you for listening for
we appreciate
all these years.
Yeah, we could say that, huh? All these years.
Yeah,
it's 2
been
years.
Years since we started talking now, Sai.
I'm glad people like it, man.
Yeah, they could not like it, and we'd still probably do. There are people
we still post it. Yeah. I mean, there's people who don't like a lot of things, right? Like, yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, how about we end? Did you like 2023?
2023. I'm trying to think what happened this year.
Yeah.
All in all, I'd say it's a good year.
Yeah, personally,
it's a good year.
Wasn't a bad year, and the main thing carrying it was my son. So 2024.
Oh, you have a son.
Yeah,
congratulations. I never knew.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Surprise.
Surprise. Yeah. You got a kid.
All right, now for the theory part. Do you think you'll like 2024 more for One Piece? For One Piece, right?
For One Piece,
Yeah. Do you think
yes.
you'll like 2024 more than 2023?
Yeah.
Because 23 is a crazy awesome year. God Valley, Garp, Shanks, like
I think
funerals,
2024
Kuma.
is going to be better.
That's what I, as crazy as it sounds, I think
These
I
last,
agree.
I think now that One Piece is in its final stretch and everything's being answered, I feel like it would be hard to have a year that's worse than the last.
Yeah.
Like Oda
But
would have to go out of his way with bad writing, like
no,
genuinely bad writing to make it
to
worse.
to be fair, I wouldn't say it had to be bad writing only because this last year was that good that it just be like like the Saturn stuff, like the stuff with
Yeah.
Saturn where it's like a little wonky, and if that continues, and then Dragon, right? Like 2023 wasn't spotless,
Dragon.
right? But if
Oh
we
yeah, that's
dragon
whew.
these
Dragon
problems,
man.
if we drag on these problems to next year, into the year of the dragon,
Dragon
then
man.
then maybe it's worse. But like I think in all regards, like you can't mess up the year of the dragon. The prophetic
That would be hilarious. Do you okay? Wait, here's a good one. Here's a collaborative bet. You know, we both
okay.
made our little stocks together, me and you. Do we
Uh-huh.
think
Uh-huh.
Dragon is going to do something that not even like just something meaningful, impactful, fight, reveal, backstory, do you think something's gonna happen with Dragon this year?
You just won?
One of those. Anyone.
Okay.
God damn, you're asking
I'd
for two?
I'd
Fucking
much
par, you're asking for two things out of Dragon? Oh my god.
I'd
Do you not
much
read One
rather
Piece, my man?
I'd
Holy
much rather
crap.
die on the hill that we're getting something. I'd much even if it's less likely so, I want to be on that side of history that I wanted Dragon to do something in the year of the dragon. Like the stars align. Listen, like what zodiac sign is he? Like that's the day I'm looking for. I don't care what copium it is. I'm gonna be looking for every squiggly dragon looking thing in the thing and be like, oh, dragon's coming in this chapter. Amen. Praise to every single goddamn god. Like Nika is real if you know. Yeah.
Dragon just showing up.
Yeah.
Just doing any
Doing
so
something.
you think he will do something with Dragon happens, right?
I'd go to church for that. I'm going to prayer with Kuma, bro. Like, to sign me up for the classes. Like,
All right. Okay.
yeah,
How about this? What do you think will be like? What do you think is going to happen now? Okay, we both agree. Do you think
yeah.
it's going to be? It could be all of them too. Do you think Devil Fruit, backstory, or fight,
Devil Fruit backstory or fight? Devil Fruit backstory fight.
or all three?
Well, I don't think he's a Devil Fruit, so I'll say power.
Okay, that's fine.
Power.
That's fine.
Wait, you said Devil Fruit backstory or what? All
Fight.
three, or fight or all three.
Yeah.
Fight. I think fight.
Fight.
Yeah, like
Dragon.
like we see
the
power, but we don't
strategist?
know. We don't know what power it is. Like we don't like if it were Devil Fruit or power. I don't even think we see that. I think we see a fight, and then maybe end the year
Magnus
we see-
Carlsen in a fist fight. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
The way people see Dragon, man. They said Dragon doesn't fight. He's a strategist. This man's
Listen.
been plotting. Haven't you seen everything in the One Piece? He's like Aizen, dude. He's been planning everything out.
It's the
My
way
God.
the introduction of characters. We see the fight, then we see the power,
Okay.
then we get backstory, then we get all three. We almost never get the backstory after
In
the full bag.
2024.
Yeah, so I think it's just the fight.
So just the fight is what you'll bet on.
And I would hedge my things by saying also the power, but not more than that. We don't get backstory. No backstory. No. We're not getting backstory.
Not okay. You know what? I agree. I think we'll see power and fight. I hope it's here on Egghead Island. You know, dude, I could see honestly, Dragon could take care of the homeless population for all I care. He could beatbox all of them, fist to fist.
Oh, no.
And you know what? I'll take that Dragon W. I'll take whatever we can get.
Yeah, if he solves LA, we got him. He's our guy.
He can solve the homeless problem in LA, the homeless problem in Japan. Yeah, do it, please. Be my guest, Dragon. I'll take anything at this point.
Oda, you would get a Nobel Peace Prize for Dragon.
Would we still slander Dragon after I think we would. Yeah. No, we would. We would.
It's to the end.
It would be like Saturn, right? Like Dragon's gonna come up here, have some flimsy excuse of like a science experiment strategy like Saturn did, and we'd probably still meme on him, to be honest.
Yeah,
It doesn't change anything.
Like again, Oda writes this for little kids, right? Like there's something.
Yeah, I forget that sometimes.
Yeah. Like they're not here reading like, oh my god, he had like they're stuck on the 8 wives part, right?
It's like the whole Boa Hancock thing, right? It's like no, it's gonna have to be explained in like 2 panels, like.
Yeah,
like even the York thing, like it's got to be easily explainable, right? Like sometimes like too long didn't read.
He reiterated the hierarchy for the chips 6 times, I think.
Did you count?
I don't.
I think it was like 4 times, but you're not far off. Like Oda thinks we have short-term memory loss. He said, "Yo, like hierarchy chip. If you forgot what this does, it's a hierarchy chip, and the chorus here at the very top."
In the last 2 times were after he announced he returned from the United States of America. So like he didn't meet the brightest.
Yeah.
Not our best, not our brightest.
He probably saw me out there and he was like, "Oh, this is dumb. Come on."
Yeah, he checked out the YouTube channels and he was like, "Oh god, this guy's saying I'm knocking up people every week." The knock up streams, and then 2 guys.
Got it. Let me just repeat it one more time for the boys. No, never mind. I was gonna ask a stupid question.
Yeah, he doesn't watch us.
No, I was about to say, like, do you think Oda makes penis jokes? But I'm like, never mind, he does.
Yes,
he does. He does that every week in the SBS.
Yeah.
Some people think Oda's a saint. You know that, right?
Yeah, and I try with my
it's crazy
content, and so like, like that's how like people.
Oda's just a guy, man. He's one of us.
People were complaining about my last video, like my comeback video with I was using Nami, and it's like the booty thing, but it's like. Pirate booty, that's a thing, but also like they're like, oh my god, this Nami thumbnail is crazy. I'm like, this is from the manga,
guys. You should have been like, guys, Oda's giving us Nami's breast measurements. What are you talking about? Like Oda pumped it up.
Yeah, like
post time skip, he went up like 10 sizes.
Yeah, like they're eye cups, guys, eye cups. I remember this from the SBS.
Yeah, like he didn't have to do like. Yeah, come on. Yeah. Oda's just the brother at the end of the day.
He gave the number pre-time skip, and then post-time skip, he's like, yep, they're eye cups. Robin and Nami are both eye cups. Do with that information what you will. Like
that is a medical anomaly, really. Just like 1 in like 2 million people have eye cups or something. It's something ridiculous.
They don't even make those things.
Yeah, it's like Shaquille O'Neal's shoes. Like you just don't see it every day.
Yeah, those are custom ordered. Like I don't know where they're getting all these eye cups from, but
listen, don't worry, Oda's a saint. Yeah, he's actually celibate.
Yeah, 100%.
Celibate with like 3 or 4 kids. Yeah.
Oda is not a perfect person. His mind is cluttered. The guy is a chain smoker, alcoholic guy. He's suffering from a severe diabetes, hypertension, gout.
He has gout. Like man can't eat red meat. Oh, dude, rest in peace. No Wagyu for him.
The role model of the story is Whitebeard. Whitebeard was an old, decrepit war veteran in his bar that probably started off the alcohol habit that he had in his early, like late teens. Like there's not much. There's a lot of darkness. Oda's writing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, shout out to Oda. Hopefully he stays healthy.
Oda has all the money in the world to buy all the food he wants, but he has gout. And diabetes. Damn, dude. That's like a curse. Somebody cursed that, man.
Yeah.
That's, like, oh man, he cut somebody off in
Dragon's
traffic. I don't know.
Backstory is he has Roger's illness and Kuma's backstory of trauma.
It's just gout and diabetes.
Yeah, so he wanted to save Luffy and save Bonnie, but he couldn't move.
Next thing we're gonna know, like it's not a hockey fist, it's just arthritis coming in.
Yeah, like Crocus told Roger not to move, and that's the same thing Dragon's doctor told him, and he took that shit seriously. He's
end of the chapter. Saturn isn't surprised by Kuma. He's not scared of Kuma's punch. He's actually just having a heart attack. He's just that old.
If Oda starts bringing in real like that kind of stuff, I wouldn't be I
wouldn't be upset. I'd just be wondering where it was earlier, you know, like Marineford, I'd have a heart attack if Whitebeard used his paramecia. I'd be like, oh god, I'm dead. Yeah. Kill me now.
One of the Gorosei just being wiped from a heart attack wouldn't be the worst. It would be bad, but it wouldn't be the worst.
It
I
would be
feel like.
pretty. No, it would be pretty damn bad.
Yeah, it'd be bad, but I feel like there's. He could be like. It could be. I don't know.
It would be fine if we had precedents of like, you know, diseases like that in the world of One Piece already.
What if they get like gibbed, like insta gibbed, like they like boa's fruit takes an effect, like they like, oh my
No.
god, boa's so hot, and then one of them gets a marrow, like Mercury, right? Or no, Venus would. Oh no, but that's the swordsman. Never mind, because Venus is normally the passion love dude. So
No, we could have like what if all the Gorseiches get negged by Boa's fruit though?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like like not just one of them, all of them.
Like the real like
They just
Blackbeard
lose.
went for the fruit to do them a favor to become a celestial giant. Hey, I took the one that beat you guys in the Void Century, right? Like that'd be crazy.
That would be kind of nuts, dude. Imagine the Meadow with like an ugly person though.
I mean, apparently it would be rude. Like every time everyone's like, you know what I mean? Because that's how they'd get
Yeah.
affected. It'd have to be, they'd have to be so ugly that they'd have, and there's some ugly dudes in One Piece. You know what I mean? Like to the point where it's
Like
a
Blackbeard
meme.
wanted that fruit, man. If he had that, it would be over. Like nothing
No,
would
but
happen.
here's the thing. Yeah, but like people in my videos say like Blackbeard's really attractive.
Well, hey, thank you guys for joining us on this video. Par, shout outs to him again. You guys know where to check him out already. He's linked down below as always. Happy 2023. Have a great 2024. And we'll catch you guys on the next chapter of One Piece. We might do something during the break weeks. You know, we got like 2.5 weeks. Yeah, maybe. Par should be doing a live stream by the time this is uploaded. So check that out if you're not there already. If this is posted after that, then forget I said this and have a great day. See ya.